rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Oh yeah, indeed. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you. Brandon, wasn't you? Well, that's probably a good thing because I was about to blame you for it. Good to see you. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Kathy from. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. It is Thursday. Man, this week has just flown by with the Sarah Boone trial. At least I've been getting some sleep. That's always a good thing. Just getting decent sleep now. Man, oh man, do we have a good one for you today? It is going to be a very, very interesting. We've got the CNN town hall that they called for Cameltown. Oh my God, you would not believe the garbage that they have to come up with for these people, because they're not completely there. I guess is the best way to look at it. They're just not all there. You were up until 1. What a machine. I don't know about that. I don't know about being a machine. I can't sleep a whole lot at night. I don't know why. If I sleep too much, then I feel like I haven't accomplished a damn thing, which is, usually true. Just spinning my wheels. Good morning, Sharon. How you doing? Good morning, Kathy from. It is wonderful, wonderful morning. And if I'm not seeing your chats come up, sometimes there's funky things that go on with YouTube. So it is what it is. We deal with it the best way that we possibly can. Yeah, let's bring up this first story here, because there's interesting things afoot, of course, and we'll get to the Harris crap in a bit. But this first right here, Washington, AP. The last time Donald Trump ran for president, the lawyers most directly involved in his efforts to overturn the election wound up sanctioned, criminally prosecuted, or even sued for millions of dollars. This time around, they're doing so much more to get organized. Well, that's not the point of this story, though. And this shouldn't be the takeaway from this story. Whenever they say the RNC is rebuilding its legal operation after their failed effort, all you have to do on this is just go down to the very, very bottom of this story. RNC rebuilding this legal team, go to the very bottom. Because it says, oh, familiar figures in 2020. Trump says there's no evidence in 2024. And then, you know, they carry on with this familiar figures from 2020. Trump has no evidence. Consequences. There is the crux of this story. Giuliani, who was disbarred in New York and Washington. Ellis lost her law license in Colorado. The two, along with Sidney Powell, another lawyer central to advancing Trump's claims, were among 19 people that have been charged in Fulton County with conspiring to overturn election. Both Powell and Ellis pleaded guilty. Giuliani was ordered to pay $148 million to two former Georgia poll workers who sued him over lies he spread about them in 2020 and upended their lives. He subsequently has filed for bankruptcy. And this UCLA law professor says, and all of that should be a deterrent to thinking a lawyer who might want to replicate something. Really? Is just telling you right there what their playbook is going to be. They've given up their hand. They are giving up their hand because what they're telling you is if you disagree, if you file anything in the court system, if you dare speak out about anything to do with the election, this right here is what's going to happen to you. This is what's going to happen to you. It wasn't enough that they do that, but on the tail end of all of this crap that they're throwing, they've added on to their bullshit. And here's the breaking news straight out of the next lawsuit that they've got going on. Here it is right here.
Each other. When Jeffrey and I would talk, he mentioned Trump frequently. He was clearly a close friend and they were spending a lot of time together. Late winter, early spring of 93, I was on a walk with Jeffrey from his brownstone on the Upper East Side down Fifth Avenue when Jeffrey looked at me and said, you know, let's go stop by and see Trump. And so we went to Trump Tower and went up the elevator, and moments later, Trump was greeting us and each other.
But here's the problem with her story. Jeffrey Epstein moved into the house in 1996, at which time he claimed to own it. Throughout, its registered ownership changed from 2011 from a trust connected to both Wexner and Epstein to a trust controlled by Epstein. Vicky Ward visited Epstein at the house for the talented Mr. Epstein in her 2000 profile in Vanity Fair. Ward wrote that she felt upon entering the house, you feel as if you stumbled into someone's private Xanadu. There is no mere rich person's home, but high-walled, eclectic and imperious fantasy that seems to have no boundaries. Rows of individually framed eyeballs manufactured for injured English soldiers. Yeah, see, that's the problem. Her claim comes for years before Jeffrey Epstein lived there. Jeffrey Epstein didn't live there until after she claims this happened. Interesting, huh? Yeah. The false claims will come out, and they are doing everything they possibly can. Help me, Shizzy One Kanizzy. You're my only hope. Forget about the outcome. It's all about the journey. Does he have 148 million? No. The video of the said poll workers recounting chest full of hidden ballots is okay. Yeah. Of course she's reading a script. It's all a script. What was that? Now, do someone Kamala held past the release date to put out forest fires and dig ditches? Yeah. You'll never see that from the news media. That'll never come out. Believe half of what you see come through the news, and none of what you know is true. None of it is true. How do you know what the it is that they're talking about is not true? Because the day after Donald Trump shows up, does something with McDonald's, does a nice little boost for himself at McDonald's. What happened? This is what happened. Chris Kazempi, president of chief executive officer for McDonald's. Dear Mr. Kempczynski, we write to concern regarding increases in fast food prices over the last several years and was seeking information regarding McDonald's pricing decisions. While McDonald's is not the only fast food restaurant that has increased prices significantly in recent years, its dominant market position, the largest fast food chain in the United States, has an outsized impact on American consumers. While working families are trying to make ends meet, McDonald's and its corporate counterparts have continued to grow their profits. Since the 19 pandemic, fast foods have consistently outpaced inflation, squeezing consumers who for decades were only able to rely on restaurants like McDonald's for a meal at a fair price. Wait, you just raised the minimum wage and now you're bitching about it? No, that's not why. See, this is where they're going to talk about, oh, we're going after the big corporations for price gouging. No, McDonald's raised their prices because they were going broke trying to make sure that their employees got a fair wage. They're choosing to spend their food dollars on at-home consumption. Since 2020, the Consumer Price Index has increased by 20%, but McDonald's may have increased its menu prices for certain items by substantially more. A recent analysis of 6 popular food chains, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, In-N-Out Burger, Burger King, Jack in the Box, found that 27 out of the 30 menu items experienced price increases that outpaced inflation. Because inflation is not what they tell you it is. If you think inflation is bad right now, just double that is what true inflation is. It's a public corporation with the WACC. Hurdle, costs up, prices up. Exactly. Yes, McDonald's is supposed to be a food kitchen. I don't know if these people ever read Atlas Shrugged. This year, McDonald's USA President Joe Erlinger tried to blame the company's menu price increases on inflationary pressures and input costs, but the data tells another story. A recent analysis found that McDonald's markup, the difference between prices and consumers, blah, blah, and blah, blah. And they released this right after Donald Trump, the day after Donald Trump did his little McDonald's promotion. But I like this right here.
Gentle, Donald. Slowly. Okay. That's good.
How much you want for your pot? 500. 600.
Hey.
Pay yourself.
Co-zoned.
Oh, we will be the next Venezuela. We're working on it. We're definitely pushing the boundaries of it. Like I said, this is not about what you should think it might be. Hey, Oka, good morning. Good to see you. It is about bringing these people just it is getting ridiculous. Why do I say it's getting ridiculous? Oh, man. I told you back in, what was it, May? Yeah, I think it was May, June, something like that. I told you about this, that something like this right here was going to happen. Boeing factory workers voted against the company's latest contract offer, remain on the picket line 6 weeks into a strike that has stopped production of the aerospace giant's best-selling jetliners. Local union leaders in Seattle said 64% of members in the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers who cast ballots Wednesday voted against accepting the contract offer. After 10 years of sacrifices, we still have ground to make up. We're hopeful to do so by resuming negotiations promptly. Hey, you know, how are they going to get the materials whenever the dock workers go on strike in January? You realize that's coming, right? You realize what's coming. This is happening. This is happening all over again. The 737 MAX plane during Alaska Flight Airlines, which the door came blowing off. There's been multiple federal investigations. Oh, you should read the court docs. The strike has deprived the company of much needed cash that it gets from delivering new planes to airlines. Boeing's bestseller airline, the union, which initially demanded 40% pay boost over 3 years, and the annual raises included in that, and the revised offer would have totaled a total of 39.8 when compounded. Boeing said that an average annual pay for machinists is currently $75,608. The pension should be a top priority. Oh, you got to have your pension, so that way you get your pension, and what do? Oh, you've been working there 15 years, you qualify for your pension, see you bye. I am going to take early retirement, and I'm just going to collect a paycheck. Yeah. Are they making $200,000 a year yet? No. Fucking longshoremen. Yeah. They want to be. An 90% increase that they were asking for. And yet they'll hold up production. They'll hold up the lifeblood of the United States. They'll stop imports from coming in, exports from going out. So if you're wondering what exactly is going to be happening with union, well, will it affect flights? That's the question that they want to ask. How is this going to affect flights? This halted production of the planes, the work stoppage will not immediately impact commercial flights, but could still bring losses for the company, which is headquartered in Arlington, Virginia, but has its root in the Seattle area where it makes most of its plane airline. For airlines, Boeing's is already dealing with a shitty reputation for being absolute garbage. And it forced... Did you lose 3 years somewhere? Yeah. I probably did. Will the strike affect airlines? No, the strike won't affect air travelers unless it lasts a very long time. Yet, Harris says Trump is a fascist. Harris has left no doubt. She believes her opponent can be characterized by a far-right trope. Asked by CNN's Anderson Cooper, she thinks Trump is a fascist. She replied bluntly, yes, I do. Yes, I do. And moments later, she was saying the rhetoric that the left has against, that is being thrown at them, the rhetoric of the right, the rhetoric of the Democrats. We'll get back into that. Oh yeah, we'll get back into that. Because they have no plan except to bring you to your knees. Speaker Johnson, he lays out the agenda for Republicans as they fight to hold House majority. Johnson laid out on Tuesday a policy agenda should Republicans take the majority next year that extends the tax cuts approved when Donald Trump was president, reduces the size of the federal workforce, and gives parents more choice on where they can send their children to school. Johnson emphasized 5 main policy points during a speech at the New York Stock Exchange. She talked of extending and building on Trump tax cuts, confronting China, boosting oil and gas production, which we desperately need in this country, expanding school choice, and cutting the size and scope of the federal government. Do you think that Republicans will ever cut the size of the federal government? Me don't think so. But they need to be concentrating on it. American people need to hold their feet to the fire. Hold their feet to the fire. Hold the Democrats' feet to the fire and the Republicans to make sure that there's less intrusion of government into our personal lives. Remember, they are few, we are many. They fear us. And if they don't, they should. Because we will vote them out and replace them with somebody that does what we ask them to do. The Speaker and House Republicans are fighting this election season to hold their narrow House majority, just a handful of seats to spare. Republicans are hopeful that Trump victory over Camel Toe in the election will help propel them to majorities in the House and Senate, which could give them unified control of Washington. So if they can actually do anything this go around, unlike last time, where they sat on their hands like a bunch of Tweedledums and Tweedledees. Against the campaign background, Johnson provided a bleak view of the economy under Joe Biden. But the problem is, it's been Joe Biden and Camel Toe Harris, and she's already said that she's going to do things differently. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You think that she isn't going to do something differently? Well, here you go. Here's her saying it. Ever since being catapulted to the top of the Democrat ticket, the vice president struggled with questions about how she's different from Joe Biden. And she's been reluctant to distance herself from him, even though voters appear eager for a change in direction. However, Biden recently gave her a rhetorical green light to break with him more. Please do, because my administration has sucked. And, oh my God, please, Camel Toe, you've got to say something different. But you're saying the same thing that Joe Biden was saying 4 years ago. Nothing different. Your rhetoric hasn't changed. You were calling Joe Biden a racist during your primary, where you got your ass handed to you easily by Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, the same Tulsi Gabbard that switched parties because, you know what? She got sick of the tropes that you guys have. The throwing shade on people, the constant attacks that you have for people. Trump just calls you an idiot and moves on with his life. You call him a fascist and then send people out to take pew-pews at him. However, Biden recently gave up her. She's going to cut her own path. More like get on her hands and knees and beg. Harris appears to have been tentatively embraced the opportunity. She repeatedly said Wednesday night that she would offer a new approach. It's much different than our old approach. This is our type of socialism that is supposed to work this time to governing when it came to caring for the elderly and bringing down consumer costs. I'm not going to shy away from saying, hey, these are still problems that we need to fix. Really? Oh, but we'll get into more of that. We'll get into more of that in a bit. The first priority he outlined was enhanced tax breaks, citing specifically immediately expensing for research and development costs. He also cited the need for a strong child tax credit. Though he did not provide specific numbers, he said the Republican tax policy would respect the dignity of work and doesn't pay people more for staying out of the workforce. Yeah, you got to love what Clinton did. And you know, kudos to Clinton on this one. He stopped the welfare programs. He said he laid out a plan where he said, hey, You're going to have to be off the welfare rolls. You've only got so much time. You're not just going to sit here and suck on the government tit. Yeah, that was Bill Clinton that did that. You think the Democrats will do that now? No. They need that money. Doing more to confront China rolling back environmental regulations are a common denominator for Republicans that Johnson embraced in his speech. On education, he said millions of Americans have the opportunity to send their children to a school that best fit their needs. And Republicans want to expand that choice so that every American has that opportunity. Johnson also emphasized cutting the debt by cutting the size of the federal government, saying we're going to reduce the size of the federal workforce and root out a long list of non-essential jobs through the federal bureaucracy. It's hard to roll back the entrenched bureaucracy and face the system that has produced that decline, but it's a difficult task, but it's a task that can be achieved because they see which way the wind is blowing now. Now that they see Trump leading in the polls, Republicans are starting to shake a little bit. They're starting to get a little worried. Those same Republicans, like what's her name? The old crow, Hale. What was her name? I forget. She was so insignificant. She was so angry that Trump would never debate her. Nikki Haley, that's right. Nikki Halebot. What a disaster she was. And there's people thinking, oh, she might run for president next year. Not a chance. Not a chance. The rhetoric that she spewed during her primary, she needs to just pack her rhino ass up and take it over to the Democrat side. Move on. Didn't they figure out before 2020 that the federal workforce could be cut by 38% without hurting operations? It can be cut by 90% without hurting operations. Smaller government will work much better. All you really need to do is drive up private investment, lower the cost of consumption, tariffs, reasonable interest rates, then there's no need for elevated government spending. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were saying that you were getting wet. I was like, damn, I didn't know I could do that to you. Just saying. Slogan should be, and you didn't think it could get any worse. Well, that is absolutely true because the rhetoric is thick with her. It is one of the worst things about her. Here, if you want to see what happens, we were talking about town halls. Well, here, check this one out. Moments from one day of town halls.
Students who have parents who ask me questions every day. I don't hide under the table. I answer their questions. I
It is constantly, these are supposedly people being outraged at town halls. Yeah. That's not how people are feeling. You want to see how people really feel about assholes? Here. See for yourself how people really
because
feel.
Because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is? Putting women down? That's not acceptable.
Respectfully, President Obama, what you said is not acceptable. I'm going to say it again. Respectfully, what you said is not acceptable.
Ooh.
Not to me, not to a host of black men out there who's not even thinking about voting for Donald Trump. What you said is unacceptable. You're basically accusing black men who come up with a reason to not support Kamala Harris as engaging in misogyny. Whatever happened to disagreeing without being disagreeable, President Obama? What happened to that? All of a sudden, we want to challenge men and our love and our affection as black men for black women. We want to bring that into question because we've got an election coming up and people may have the temerity to think differently than you. A black man asking, what about us, is not a crime. It's not misogyny. It's us exercising our rights as American citizens to question why you should have our support, which you yourself as the president for 8 years told us we had every right to do.
Harsh.
That's all
Very
I'm going to
harsh.
say for now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he had to say. Take away all of it. No, you don't believe it? Total meltdown tonight. The Harris-Walz campaign, the Hitler hoax didn't gain any traction. They've overplayed that hand. The effing Mexican hoax backfired with sister of a murdered soldier, Venezuela Guyan, going on national TV and calling Harris and the Atlantic out for politicizing her sister's death. Then he grabbed my ass 32 years ago. Hoax was unraveled less than an hour and is being universally mocked. The new Wall Street Journal poll released tonight shows Camel Toe is losing the popular vote by another 3 points. Camel Toe bombed at the CNN town hall, which was supposed to be her opportunity to present her closing argument to undecided voters. The joy is gone. Thank you, Bad Hombre. The joy is gone. Remember that little slogan they had, the joyful crowd, or whatever it was, the Joy Club or something like that? Yeah, the most joyful group of people. How's that worked out for them? Are you feeling the joy? Are you feeling the joy? You ready for some word salad? Are you wanting some word salad? Oh, we've got it. Or is it MSP or one of those acronyms? Are you ready to see some of the joy that Camel Toe brings? Well, you're just going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait because it is that time to grab another cup of coffee, wet your whistle, wake up just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. We'll be back in just less than 5 minutes. Grab your coffee, relieve the bladder, and grab your popcorn or your chicken egg biscuit or chicken biscuit or biscuit and gravy or a bowl of cereal or whatever it is that you're having for breakfast. Because it is going to be an interesting ride here in about 5 minutes. See you in a few.
Sandy shores, get a tan, Rambo the orangutan. Driving a golf cart, old man Rambo is half crazy, yes he can. Well, that SOB's a sight to effing see. Oh, Rambo's rolling, and the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Oh, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand. Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is, well, that is too dirty to say here. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand. Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is a... That is too dirty to say here, Oh, Rambo's rolling, Has the sun, he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Otters in the surf, hummingbirds in the sky. Rambo honks the horn and spits in Shizzy's eye. Oh my! Oh, Rambo's rolling, Has the sun, he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Oh, Rambo's rolling. Rambo takes a turn, driving to the wave. Otters wave their paws, telling Rambo, not sure, but if you could understand, Otter, it probably wasn't nice. Rambo takes a turn, driving to the waves. Otters wave their paws, telling Rambo, not sure, but if you could understand, Otter, it probably wasn't nice. Oh, Rambo's rolling, Has the sun, he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having a effing blast. So here's to Rambo, otters and hummingbirds by the edge of the ocean. And Shizzy, well, he might just be there too. Well, here's to Rambo, otters and hummingbirds by the edge of the ocean. And Shizzy, well, he might just be there too.
And here we go. As I scroll across the bottom, nothing what you see here is true or correct. But let's see what they have to say.
We also invited former President Donald Trump to participate in a town hall or a debate. He declined.
Absolutely, because there's no reason why he should have to be there. None at all. I see no reason for Donald Trump to show up to a place like this that obviously hates him with a passion. No reason to be there. Why would you show up to witness this garbage? Good morning, Star Z. Welcome back. Morning, Deborah. How you doing? Spitfire says meow. I haven't seen anything on Penny. I know they're putting a lot of pew-pews and dogs in the subway, closing off entrances, exits, creating choke points. They're ready to defend the outcome. Who's going to help feed the gerbils, though? Definitely a Vanderbilt.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Vice President Kamala Harris.
Oh, look, all 15 people are applauding for her.
Vice President, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks. You have a mic right here. Thank you
so much. Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Thanks so much for being with us. We're going to get to the audience in just a second. I want to start by asking you, though, for weeks you have been calling Donald Trump unstable, unhinged. You've called him dangerous. You've quoted General Milley recently, who called him a fascist. Today, you quoted General Kelly, who said that Trump repeatedly praised.
For Anderson, that's the way to his colon and his heart. Just a gerbil in there. Good morning, Alcy. It is good to see you. Good morning, Stormy Storm. Ah, yes. And the wonderful Deborah Millinger. Oh, look, performing seals. Yeah. It is going to be an insane little piece here. This right here. Now, I don't know how much of this has been edited out. How much is in here? But we'll see.
Praise Hitler. Yeah. But there are tens of millions of Americans right now who have.
Yes, she's been comparing him to the Hitler. Yeah, that has been, whenever they really start to lose, they start throwing out the tropes of racist, fascist, misogynistic. He's a rapist. He does the bad things. He's bad for the country. And watch how quickly, as she calls him a fascist, she calls on people to go and attack him. Watch how quickly she says, we need to stop the rhetoric. How fast that comes about in this interview. Get your bingo card ready, because, it's coming.
I've heard all those things, and they don't buy it, or even if they do, they're still going to vote for Donald.
No, it's not that people don't buy it. They're sick of hearing it. They're sick of hearing the same tropes, the same attacks. Do you think Trump would even show up if this shoe were on the other foot? Could see him just taking over the airwaves, but not answering mentally challenged questions from little Andy. Well, Andy can't help it.
Trump. He's arguably more popular now than ever. You have 13 days to go. What do you say to those voters to convince them? Because some of them are in this room.
Sure, and I
Yeah, look, creepy crepe neck. Yeah, creepy crepe neck. Here, I got your. Well, I can't do it on this one, but yeah, she's got some issues.
thank you all for taking the time to be here. And
Thank you for taking the time to be here. Are her and Cooper Anderson the same height, or is she wearing less? Why is she wearing her dad's suit coat? Why have women started wearing? Do they think this is attractive? No. She looks like a puppet.
and you could be doing a number of other things with your time. So this really is proof that we love our country. People are engaged, Anderson, and really want to talk about the issues. And so the issue that you raise.
That's not an issue. That right there is defamatory statements.
Yes, I do believe that Donald Trump is unstable, increasingly unstable.
And she'll go through all the bullshit of how many people agree that he's unstable. She goes through that for like 5 minutes of word salad. No, it's the Hilfiger style. That's what it is. It's the Tommy Hilfiger style. We know about Tommy Hilfiger and his design genius.
At least before, there were folks who we know what he would say, but they would restrain him.
There were people that would restrain him.
Of staff has said he is a fascist to the core.
You mean the people that he fired? The ones that don't agree with him. The people that put us in this situation in the first place. Hillary wore Captain Kangaroo suits. Yes, she did.
So I think that when the American people reflect, especially those who are undecided,
I would venture to say the people that are there are not undecided. There's certain giveaways to these undecided voters. Certain giveaways. Because they look like the cast. They look like the cast of The Office. Hey, pay attention. You're going to see the whole cast from The Office coming up and asking questions. And I haven't seen this whole thing. I just saw a little snippet of it. And I am telling you right now, you're going to see the whole cast from The Office coming up and asking questions. This was staged. Although Cooper Anderson said, oh no, these are questions that they came up with themselves. Mm-hmm.
on who you should listen to. Don't take my word for it. In fact, go online and listen to John Kelly, his voice.
Go on. Wait. How about we don't do that? Why do we have to listen to John Kelly? Why would we listen to what John Kelly has to say? Oh, because he was a 5-star general. What? why, or 4-star, whatever. Why would we listen to what Kelly has to say? It's just like saying, let's listen to what that the Attorney General had to say. Why don't we listen to that? Whatever his shithole of a brain is been eating.
Talking about what he thinks of Donald Trump 2 weeks before the election, because I think we all know, to your point, Anderson, it is close,
Cynthia.
but there are undecided voters who clearly, by being here, have an open mind, want to talk in a way that is grounded in issues and fact. And when they hear these facts, I think it compels a lot of people to be concerned about the future of our country with Donald.
Now, you would think that she comes out here and she's giving more kudos to Donald Trump. Why do you think he's so popular? Because you've been on the constant attack of Donald Trump.
Trump at the lead.
You've quoted General Milley calling Donald Trump a fascist. You yourself have not used that word to describe him. Let me ask you tonight,
Here
do you
it
think Donald
comes.
Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
There you go. There it is. But, you know, here's the thing that she'll come back and say, I never said that he was a fascist. Which, in all honesty, she never did. Think about it. Whenever they say she was calling Donald Trump a fascist, her response will be, I never called Donald Trump a fascist. She never did. She just agreed with Anderson Cooper. She said that all of these other people said that he was. But whenever called out, she's going to say, I never called Donald Trump a fascist. And she wouldn't be lying, because so far she hadn't called him a fascist.
Yes, I do. And I also believe that the people who know him best on this subject should be trusted. Again, look at their careers. These are not people, with the exception, I think, of only Mike Pence. These were not politicians.
You think of Mike Pence? Why would you be thinking of Mike Pence? Mike Pence beat your ass in a debate without even lifting a finger. That's how horrible you were at debating Mike Pence. And you think you're some sort of challenge for Donald Trump? Good luck, girl.
These are career people who have served.
Yep, career politicians. So we should be respecting career politicians over your own mind. That's how they feel about you. Yeah. Babble, 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 babble. She hates the American people. She here, and I'm just going through all of this. How much she has just rambled on. From the very get-go, we're talking a good, 10 minutes of her rambling about how horrible Donald Trump is, about the type of person he is. That's what we watched. That's what we watched. And it's acting funky. Hold on a second. Yep, it's giving me shenanigans here. Let me find out where that is. Okay. And we'll close that, because more than likely it's my browser. It happens. Give me just a second. I'm going to close that, close that, close that. We're going to refresh this page. Refresh. See if they haven't taken it down. Yep. Pause it there, and I'm bringing it back up. Another there, ramble, and here we go. Back to it.
United States. He himself has said he would terminate the Constitution of the United States.
And that's a lie. Again, I don't know who licked the red off of your lollipop, Pamela, but you just listed a bunch of false talking points. Get a grip, and may God have mercy on your soul. Good to see you, Nosy Rosie. Gotta make it wonderful. Gotta search Daniel Penny updates. Hope you have a great day. Thank you. You have a wonderful day also. Pence never should have been VP. No, he shouldn't have been. Liar, pants on fire.
And wants to earn your vote to stand again behind the seal of the President of the United States? No one. Standing behind the seal of the President of the United States of America should be in that position saying they want to terminate the Constitution of the United States.
But you've been talking about that the whole time. She has been talking about this the whole damn time. They want to eliminate your freedom of speech, your right to bear arms, your right to peacefully redress your grievances. All of these things are the same rights they want to take away from you, American people. But oh no, she's going to be better.
United States.
Let's get to some of our voters. I want you to meet a registered Republican who's very concerned about Trump's views on democracy and January 6th.
Oh, look.
She told us she's looking for a reason to vote
There's
for
Jim
you,
from The
but is yet
Office
to
in the
make a
back.
Final decision. Her name is Natasha Kwiatkowski. She's a student at Bryn Mawr College. What's your question, Natasha?
Awesome. Thank you for being here, and thank you for taking my question.
If you're trying to tell me this girl was ever a Republican, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. This girl has never been a Republican, ever, in her life. Yeah, it's just nonstop and overflowing. Shizzy, it's 5:21 a.m. Good to see you with the liars on screen. You're welcome, Alita. Yeah, Alita. I think that's right. She's not old enough to vote. No, she's going to college, and I don't. Everything about her screams at me and says, "Yeah, this girl is liberal. She's wearing Hillary's hand-me-downs." Yeah.
Natasha.
And as someone who hasn't fully committed to either party, how do you plan to address the concerns of independent voters and anti-Trump Republicans like myself who feel left out of the polarized political landscape?
Anti-Trump Republicans? So, other words, she's a rhino. It's not that she's looking to, no. She is a liberal Democrat to the core. She's a paid actress. Like I said, you're going to see all the characters of The Office here.
And what specific actions would you take to bridge the political divide and create more unity?
By calling Trump a fascist. Sweetheart, you shouldn't even have to ask this question. I'm sorry, there is no reason that girl should even be asking this question. You know why she shouldn't be asking this question? Camel Toe just spent the past 10 minutes up on stage calling her opponent, calling Donald Trump a fascist. She just spent the past 10 minutes calling him a fascist. And why would this girl, even if she had any two brain cells to rub together, why would she come up and ask that question? Because she just told you her answer. But oh no. Camel Toe's going to go into a political diatribe of word salad that's going to make you scratch your head and go, did she ever answer the question? How are you going to bridge the political divide? Oh, she'll hit like little talking points. But how is she going to bridge the political divide? By talking you to fucking death.
That's a wonderful question. I pledge to you to be a president for all Americans. And I think to the point of, in the spirit of your question, that people
except for Donald
are
Trump,
frankly exhausted with what has been happening over the last several years, which is this environment that is suggesting that Americans should be pointing fingers at one another, that we...
What did you just do? What did you just do? You just called every single Trump supporter a fascist. You just called Donald Trump a fascist. And if you support him, you're stupid and you're a fascist. You're misogynistic, you're homophobic, transphobic, you're racist, whatever trope they can come up with. That's what you are if you vote for Donald Trump. She never answers the question, but spews diarrhea. Absolutely.
We are divided as a nation, instead of what I think you and I will speak for us, I think, who
No, you
believe
don't.
and know. The vast majority of us have so much more in common than what separates us. And
Oh,
I think
so you're a
that
fascist?
the American
Okay.
people deserve to have a president who is grounded in what is common sense, what is practical, and what is in the best interest of the people, not themselves.
And you notice her speech patterns? Those earrings look really nice on her.
I started my career as a prosecutor. And
No, you started your career on your knees. You started your career on your knees. Do we need to bring up Judge Brown again? You started your career on your knees. You're old hoe.
will tell you, I never in my career, and most of my career was outside of Washington, D.C., by the way. Only 4 years when I was in the Senate were in Washington, other than being vice president. I have never in my career as a prosecutor asked a victim or a witness of a crime, are you?
No, you just kept them locked up. Tell me, how many cases did she actually prosecute? How many times was her name on that paper? Word diarrhea.
You a Democrat
ho.
or a Republican? The only thing I've ever asked is, are you okay? And I do believe that is what the American people deserve in their president.
What, not being put out on the fire lines? Yeah, Judge Joe Brown. Yeah, he's awesome.
And not someone who makes decisions based on who voted for them.
Really? What have you been doing for the past 4 years? What have you done for the past 4 years? You've created a political divide. You've called Donald Trump every possible name in the book. Hell, you even called Joe Biden a racist. You said the reason why she had such a difficult time growing up in Canada is because of being bussed across. Oh, that's right. I guess people forget about that. She cares for the people. Yeah. Huge lie, ho. She doesn't care about you. You know what she cares about? She cares about that $77 million that's sitting in her bank account. And it grows by the year.
Or what is in their personal interest. And I reference that because, as we know, it has been revealed that Donald Trump, when he was president, during...
Was that, what does Trump tell us about Harris? European like you know, Shizzy, so I respect your opinion, all Americans, but why always that name calling? He just calls her an idiot. He calls her stupid. That's all he does. What does that tell us about Harris? What does it tell us about Harris? Because she has this belief that if you don't agree with her, they will find anything to call you. They will come after you politically, socially, economically. They'll use the justice system to go after you. Imagine in your wonderful country, if you had an opponent that you went after legally in more ways than one. You attack their businesses, you attack their credibility, you attack their income, you attack everything about them. They want him locked up. It was Russia, 8 years ago? And it's coming back again. The Russia tropes again. Oh, Russian misinformation, Russian information. No one who can leave the border open deserves to be president. I heard him say this many times. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it goes against the Constitution of the United States of America. It goes against the core beliefs of the United States. We have a process of becoming an immigrant into the United States. Go try pulling the shit that's been happening in the United States and other countries. See how far that gets you. If you think that all of these people being shipped over into what country is that? Poland? Yeah, they're like, no, we're not letting you in. You're not coming here. The Dems crumble when will be gone if he comes back. Now they won't. They'll still be back. They'll still be around.
Extreme disasters, when it came time to determine how those areas, those people who had been traumatized by extreme weather would get relief, he asked the question, did they vote for?
That's not what he did at all. See, sweetheart, you never showed up. You showed up to hand out $750 checks in what, Savannah? Augusta? Yeah. That was what you did. While Trump shipped in supplies on his own dime. Oil, gas, supplies. News didn't cover that.
For him. I believe the American people deserve better. And they deserve a president who is focused on solutions, not sitting in the Oval Office plotting their revenge and retribution.
Let me introduce you to Eric Swenson. He runs a service desk for an IT company in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. He's registered as a libertarian, describes himself as an independent. He says he's undecided. Eric?
Wait a second. He's wearing a freaking union hat. Look. Yes, he's a libertarian. Oh, he's got a "Don't Tread on Me" icon here and on his hat. Oh, the little self-marketing, I see. Unsudded my big fat hairy white ass. This is a brand new hat. This is a brand new hat, a brand new shirt. Brand new hat, brand new shirt. Got his beard all trimmed up. Looking nice and sharp. Trump is always, yes, he has given many
He's
solutions.
registered as a libertarian, describes himself
I
as an
doubt it.
independent. He says he's undecided. Eric?
Thank you, Anderson. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you, Eric.
So my question is concerning grocery.
If you come out with word salad and you don't ask a solid question.
Grocery prices have gone up quite a bit in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And some people blame former President Trump. Some people blame President Biden.
No, the Democrats are blaming Trump. The rest of the nation understands that for 4 fucking years, I doubt this guy has done any research into this, and he's undecided as an independent or a libertarian. Bullshit. This has been 4 years of massive decline. This is on camel toe hairs. This isn't blaming, it's just fact.
Who would you say is correct? And what would you do to bring prices down for Americans?
Thank you, Eric. And you're absolutely right. You know it. I know it. I think most Americans know it. Price of groceries is still too high.
And let me guess, she's going to talk about price gouging. She's the faces I grab off of these are hilarious. That this is just it. This is here's number 2 from The Office. Like I said, all of these are paid actors to come in and do this. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Nothing you say here is true or correct. I'm making this up as I go along. She's going to cause World War III if she makes it in. We're in the middle of that right now, sweetheart. Sweetheart, we are right in the middle of that. Do you? Everyone thinks that wars come about like like something that you saw in when the hell was that? Saving Private Ryan. You have to remember that you're seeing like the storming of the beaches and stuff like that. Sweetheart, that war was already happening. That war had been going on for years. If you think that we're not in the middle of a world war, then you need to change the channel. Like, stop looking at the mainstream news. We're funding how many wars in how many countries? The United States is funding how many wars in how many countries? How many wars are currently going on in Europe? right now? How many wars are going on in the West? How many wars are going on in the East? If you think that we're not in the middle of a world war, wow. Cloud seeding destroy potential voters. Why not the Dems? Yeah, we're in the middle of a world war. The Middle East. That's what world wars are. They don't just all of a sudden come popping up out of nowhere. You can look back at history and see each step that led up to those world wars. At every step, those could have been avoided. Why? Because nobody's declared war?
We need to address it in a number of ways. One of my aspects of doing what we need to do to bring down the cost of living for working people and the middle class in America is to address the issue of grocery prices. Part of my background and how I...
And what affects grocery prices? What affects grocery prices? Inflation. Lack of supplies. If you study any basic economics, you have this thing called supply and demand. If your demand increases over supply, the cost goes up. Fuel? Yeah. Yeah, they provide a 45-cent cut on gas prices leading into the election. What do you think happens in just a short period of time? Y'all, how does a person who rents lose everything in a flood in NY? I don't know. I don't know what that means. NY.
I come to it as probably a new approach grounded in a lot of my experiences as a former attorney general, where I took on price gouging. And part of my plan is to create a new approach that is the first time that we will have a national ban on price gouging, which is...
Price gouging? So they're going to set us up for bread lines? I think that happened in another country, didn't it? The prices increased because you've cut off their supply. So they're going to increase the cost of that product. How does that help out a small business? Kamala, you want to support a small business? What were the companies that stayed open during the pandemic? What was it? Was it the mom and pop shop? No. They had the police come lock those places up. Go down the street to the Walmart or your Home Depot. Go down the street to your Lowe's. Go down the street to your Publix. Not the mom and pop grocery store. Oh, hell no. We can't even get supplies to you. Oil, gas here in Europe rising like crazy. Oh, it's you think it's bad now. It's going to get worse. It's going to get much worse. Why? Oh, because your renter's policy won't cover exponential flooding in areas that will be voting soon. Atmospheric river, my ass. Your renter's policy won't cover that. The regulators won't let them charge what is appropriate, so they just don't sell it. The New York DOI commissioner is a moron. Yes. Even getting a haircut has gone up. Yeah. Because the cost of living goes up for everyone. See, everyone says there's no such thing as this trickle-down economy. It doesn't work. But it does. You have to power your country. If you can't power your country, wind and solar isn't going to do it. What does it take to power your country? What does it take to get product from California to New York? What does it take to get product from, how are you going to get your avocados if they shut down the ports? Your dock workers are going to be striking in January. All the goods that you are relying coming in from overseas, your bananas, your avocados, you can get those locally, but then they have to get shipped to you. Whenever the cost of fuel is so high, how are you going to get it to you at a reasonable cost? Because you have to pay the driver, you have to pay for his food, you have to pay for the fuel that powers his truck. You have to pay for the police that monitor the traffic. You have to pay for the oil that's going to be going into the asphalt to keep those roads paved. That costs money. Every single bit of your economy. Just a salary to move a crane? Yeah, let's look up how much they earn. $150,000 a year. Working on $200,000. They want to get paid $200,000 to unload shit. If you think it's gotten bad, oh no. They're going to call it price gouging.
Is companies taking advantage of the desperation and need of the American consumer and jacking up prices without any consequence or accountability.
Like you did with gas.
So that is one way. But to your point, Eric, there are a number of issues that we need to address in terms of bringing down the cost of living. It includes what we need is a new approach that I bring to the issue of affordable housing, including for.
What does that have to do with getting product from one place to another? The cost of affordable housing? What is affordable housing? What is affordable housing? Buying more than you can afford? Oh, so we're going to offer another $25,000. Here comes the word salad from Camel Toe herself.
And again, I bring to it my experience, knowing what has been happening in terms of how corporations.
Knowing what has been happening. You don't know what the fuck is happening in your own backyard. How many times your husband got to slap you around?
Have been buying up blocks of property to diminish competition, and then rents get jacked up.
That's not how it works, you dummy. But they'll still charge you more in taxes. Giving illegal immigrants housing loans can cause banks to fail. If Shizzy did that, we'd have to start a get Shizzy out of jail fund.
And addressing that, both in terms of making sure that there is a consequence and accountability for that, but also investing in people's dreams of home ownership, knowing that
who's talking in her ear? Who is talking in her ear? Because she is just word salad out the fucking wazoo. So how are you going to bring down the cost of food and goods? She's done nothing to address this whatsoever. She's talking about housing. Housing doesn't bring down the cost of food and goods. It's another tax on the American people.
Too long, frankly, both administrations and both parties, Democrats and Republicans, haven't done enough to deal with the issue of housing.
Because housing isn't the issue. There's plenty of houses out there. You just got idiots that don't know how to build it.
We need a new approach that includes working with the private sector.
Yep.
I say that as a devout public servant, working with the private sector to cut through the red tape, working with home builders, working with developers to create.
Sweetheart, who can afford to be a home builder right now? Because the cost of goods are too fucking high. The cost of goods are too high to be a home builder. So you're going to have to subsidize them. And whenever you subsidize the home builders to build cheap shit that isn't going to last very long. Oh my God. Has she ever studied anything except for the veins on the long schlong?
Tax incentives so that we can create more housing supply and bring down the price.
Let me just ask you about price gouging. I looked at your plan. You talk about going after price gougers, and I'm quoting from the plan, on essential goods during emergencies or times of crisis. I get that. How does that help, though, someone like Eric with prices that for years the grocery price has just been high?
Well,
For 4 years, your grocery prices have been high. For 4 years. And it's only grown exponentially since you've been there. Even basic economic principles cover grand. Yeah. Prove her wrong. Yes, exactly. Devout public servant. Public servicer. Kamala sold her soul to the devil. Well, if she ever had a soul in the first place.
first of all, Anderson, as you know, and obviously CNN has been covering extensively what has been happening in the state of Georgia, North Carolina, Florida. It's a real issue. I was.
It's a real issue? Absolutely priceless. I laughed. Thank you. Thank you. Political servicer. Yeah. The issues that are happening in Georgia, North Carolina, are people that already have or still showing up to grab things. You cut people off. People are mad at you for your response. Prices are only going to go up. Prices are going to go up. More word salad from Camel Toe.
Was Attorney General of California. I was the top law enforcement officer of the biggest state in the country. I took this issue.
Yeah, and you kept how many of those guys out on the fire lines because you didn't want to let them loose for minor infractions? It took the Supreme Court to come in to get a man off of death row that was found innocent. Tell me how well you did. She was fucking atrocious. California's in the shits because of her. She paid for protesters to get out of jail. She started a fund for protesters that were burning down your cities to get out of jail for free. The same people that are praising Palestine. Same people that are disruptors. Mumbo jumbo, exactly. They're making people dependent on the government to control them. Look what they've done for you. Nothing. The hostess body language is epic.
Because it affects a lot of people. And I'm not going to apologize for the fact that we need to actually deal with accountability when these...
And you've not been accountable for the past 4 years.
Not all. In fact, most don't. But when companies are taking advantage of the desperation and the need of the American people, we saw it actually during the pandemic as well, where because of supply chain issues, there was a reduction of supply.
Why was there supply chain issues? Why was there supply chain issues? Why was there supply chain issues, Camel Toe? Why were there supply chain issues? Who was handling that kind of information? Who was in charge of it? Oh.
Supply, and then they would inflate the price of everyday necessities, not to mention...
Because supply and demand, you idiot. Because you shut down where people were able to work. Jesus. The white chairs are set up on purpose to make her look tall.
And by the way, again, Donald Trump should be here tonight to talk with you and answer your questions. He's not. He refused to come.
Why would he show up? Why would he show up? He's already beat you. This is exactly what her problem is. He refused to show up. It's all about Trump. He's beat you. And the desperation shows.
But understand that part of his plan is to put in place a national sales tax of at least 20%.
That's not true. That's another thing that's not true. He's going to put tariffs on people from other countries shipping goods at low prices and pulling in big bunks. He's putting tariffs on goods coming into our country. We're being charged tariffs going out of the country. We should be charging them coming into the country.
On everyday goods and necessities. And that, by economist estimates, independent economists, would cost you as the American consumer and taxpayer an additional $4,000 a year.
No. She says that like she thinks $4,000 is a lot of money. That, sweetheart, that's less than the amount of taxes I paid last year. Jesus Christ, is she an idiot? Hey, Keister Bunny, good to see you, girl. She doesn't even know what a tariff is. No. It is not a tax on the American people. She's an idiot.
I want you to meet Carol Nakanoff, a political science professor at Swarthmore College. She's a registered Democrat who said she's leaning toward voting for you.
Everything about her screams Democrat and professor. Look, it's another character from The Office. See, you got one back here in the back right there. That looks like Jim from The Office. Another Jim from The Office, just wearing a different style of Jim.
Has yet to make her final decision. Carol?
Hi, Carol. Thank
Good
you.
evening. Thank
Good
you for visiting us in Delaware
Yeah,
County.
she's already made her
Vice
decision.
President Harris. My question is this. If you could accomplish only one major policy goal that required congressional action, what would it be?
Oh, congressional action. Oh, it'd require congressional action. Yeah, she knew this question was coming. She's prepared for this one. Oh my God. Holy Muppet Cat Lady.
And why?
Well, there's not just one. I have to be honest with you, Carol.
Oh, no. Because as soon as she's in, she is coming after you people. Yeah.
There's a lot of work that needs to happen, but let's
More
I
word
think
salad.
that maybe part of
They're
this
reading it
point
into her
that I-
ear.
how I think about it is we've got to get past this era
Yep.
of politics and partisan politics.
Wait, you just called Trump a fascist. Now you're going to talk about partisan politics? Okay.
Slowing down what we need to do in terms of progress in our country. And that means working across the aisle.
Sweetheart, you're not able to work across the aisle whenever you call the opposition racist, fascist, homophobe, transphobe, bigoted, misogynistic, all of the tropes that you use. You call them racist, you call them everything, you call them Yahtzees, you call them... You want me to work with you? I don't see this. She has published anti-American books. Look at that evil in her eyes.
I've done that before. We did it around whether it be what we were able to accomplish with the bipartisan infrastructure deal or some of the work that we have done in terms of dealing with gun safety. But we've got to work across the aisle, and it is my commitment.
Gun safety? No.
To work with Democrats, with Republicans, with independents, to deal with a number of issues, whether it be what we need to do in terms of housing and creating legislation that creates incentives for that, what we need to do to reinstate the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her gun.
Yeah, Captain Kern is pulling up. The lady that asked this question wrote a book called The Fictional Republic.
Government tell her what to do, whether it be what we need to do to actually invest in a substantial way in the industries of the future, in American-based manufacturing, in American-based industries.
That goes against everything that she just said. Gun safety, don't let tampon Timmy near that one. Yeah, he'd probably bleed to death. Or Hellsinger, whatever his name was. Yeah. Kamala's eyes are shy. She's full of it.
where American workers and union workers have
Oh.
those jobs in a
Oh,
way that
oh, you mean, so if you put tariffs on countries, you can bring manufacturing back to the United States. You mean the manufacturing that is shipped overseas, and there's tariffs placed on those American companies that are doing work overseas. You're saying we need to bring manufacturing back to the United States? This sounds a little bit like making America great again, doesn't it? Because Trump's policies were working. Your policies for the past 4 years have been shit.
is good paying jobs that gives people the dignity they deserve. All of those areas I plan on working across the aisle and with Congress.
So what have you done for the past 4 years? For the past 4 years, you've gone to Congress. You've been the deciding vote on breaking the American workers' back. For the past 4 years, you've voted, you've pushed through funding for Ukraine. For the past 2 years, you've doubled that amount that you were sending to Ukraine to fight a fucking war in another country. In the past 4 years, you shut down manufacturing, you shut down oil pipelines. You've shut down the process that fuels the American dream, and you've taken that away from people. So what are you going to do in the next 4 years? Well, you're going to make it different. You're going to go harder at the millionaires and billionaires. Oh, that's right. You're a millionaire yourself. How many million do you have in the bank account now, Camel Toe?
Including the issue of immigration, which we've got to fix.
Let me ask you, you've talked about codifying Roe v. Wade. That would obviously require 60 votes in the Senate, a majority.
Oh, so this is about bringing back bad law. That Ginsburg even said this is bad law. That's what they're looking to do. They want to tell you women exactly what you can and can't do with your body. They don't want to leave that decision up to you. She stole from the American people to get rich. Didn't you know that she learned from Biden? Oh, yeah. And Pelosi. I think Pelosi made $200 million last year. Think about that.
Of the House. That's a big leap. We don't have that yet. If that's not possible to codify it in the House, what do you do?
I think we need to take a look at the filibuster, to be honest with you. But
Oh.
the reality of it is this.
Change the
Let's
filibuster.
talk about how we got here.
Good morning,
When Donald
Tom
Trump was
Gillis.
president, he hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court.
Good morning, Tom Gillis, my golfing pro, the god of the golf ball, the prince of the putter. How you doing, Tom Gillis? Good to see you, brother.
With the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did as he intended. And now in 20 states, we have Trump abortion bans that include
Trump abortion bans. Trump never banned anything. Trump put people in place. They voted what they saw fit. Has nothing to do with Trump. Look at all the money that flowed into Planned Parenthood and how much Planned Parenthood gives her. She has a major history with Planned Parenthood. Big money in that. Yeah, there's good money to be made off of body parts. Just saying.
punishing healthcare providers, doctors and nurses in Texas. You know,
This is another lie. More word
they
salad.
provide for prison for life.
Sweetheart, you're not one to talk about prison reform. State of California has the worst prison. You're funding people to have sex change surgeries in prison.
For a healthcare provider, for doing the job that they believe is in the best interest of their patient. Laws, Trump abortion bans, some that make no exception
No,
even for rape or
this
incest.
is a lie again.
One of the areas I specialized in as a prosecutor was crimes against women and children. The idea you would tell a survivor of a...
Name one. Name one. Name one. Name one there, Camel Toe. They now want to do away with the Supreme Court. Yes, they do. They want to stack the Supreme Court. What they're working on, and they've been working on, if she's elected in the next 4 years, they're going to increase the amount of justices that is on the Supreme Court so they can stack it. Don't believe me? Look it up. They started talking about it at the beginning of Biden being put in place. They wanted to start stacking the Supreme Court. They've been working behind the scenes to try to stack the Supreme Court where they can add more justices in perpetuity.
Violation to their body, that they have no right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. This is what's happening in our country. You all may have heard the stories. Women have died. Women have died because of these laws.
Really? Where? What women have died because of these laws? How many women died? Well, name them. How many children have you killed because of the laws that you had in place before? How many children were violently
And the suffering, I have to say, Anderson, traveling, for example, I was with Liz Cheney this week. She is unapologetically pro-life and will also tell you that she doesn't agree with what's been happening. I find that many people I've met who are pro-life have said to me, you know, I didn't intend that this would happen. I didn't intend that women who are suffering a miscarriage would develop sepsis, as has happened many times. I didn't intend that women would die.
How many times?
I didn't intend that there would now be restrictions on access to in vitro fertilization. I didn't intend that there would be an effort to limit access to contraception. So, you know.
No, it's the states that make that decision, not your federal government. It is up to the states. If you don't like the state that you're living in, pack up, leave, go to another state. You have that ability. You have that ability to be mobile. If you don't like the laws in your state, go to another fucking state. Simple as that. Move. Take your happy ass back to California. If you don't like the laws of Tennessee, pack your happy ass up. Go back. If you don't like the laws in Georgia, take your happy ass back up to New York. We were doing just fine before you carpetbagging pieces of shit joined our states that were doing really good on their own. How many times have women lost their life because of a botched abortion? There, exactly. How many times? Contraception shouldn't be abortions. Yes.
This is probably one of the most fundamental freedoms that we as
Americans, what about the child? What about the child? Do they not have the right to live? Do we just throw the baby out with the bathwater? Is that what you're saying? Huh. So those children are never even given a chance. Makes you feel really, really good about voting for her. Horrible ideas.
Americans could imagine, which is the freedom to literally make decisions about your own body.
What about the child?
On some issues, I think we've got to agree that partisanship should be put aside. And I'll close at this point.
Exactly.
I know it is possible.
Oh, please close your mouth with this point.
When you look at the midterms, in so-called red states and so-called blue states, when this issue of freedom was on the ballot,
that's
the American
not a freedom.
People voted for freedom.
Considering you have been in the position.
Oh, by the way, did you notice the big edit that was there? Leanne Griffin's a student of the University of Pennsylvania. Everything about her screams liberal. Everything about this girl screams liberal. Someone please ask that witch about the late-term abortion. What about the unborn baby's body? Well, that gets donated or sold. There's good money in it.
Of vice president for the past 4 years under the Biden administration, how can we expect you to deviate from the direction of that administration compared to your own? How can we differentiate your policy and your beliefs from that of Biden's?
And here's where she's going to separate herself away from Biden. She's been doing the same thing. She's going to do the same thing Biden did. It's not any change.
That's a great question, and thank you. Well, first of all, my administration will not be a continuation of the Biden administration. I bring to this role my own ideas and my own experience. I represent a new generation of leadership on a number of issues and believe that we have to actually take new approaches. For example, what we talked about in terms of...
Like I said, she is sitting there nodding her head the whole time. She is a plant. Look, it's another character from The Office. Another character from The Office.
Of housing, my experience that leads to that priority includes what I did to take on the big banks around the foreclosure crisis when I brought...
You mean the one that you're trying to ramp up again? She's going to do what Obama tells her to do. She's a puppet. She's got a hand so far up her ass that it's moving her jaws. That's why she has those wrinkles in the bottom of her neck.
Billions of dollars to homeowners that were the subject of predatory lending. I know what homeownership means to the American people, not to mention...
You don't know what it means. You have no idea what the American people know. You don't feel it. You don't understand a goddamn thing. Name one thing that Camel Toe has built. One thing. Like Pelosi when trying to pass the Obamacare. Vote it and we'll tell you what you're getting. Yeah, there is no differentiation between her and Biden. Don't ever believe that there is. There's not going to be any differentiation. They are so salty right now because Hillary was supposed to be the one in power. They want us full-fledged into a war. So that way they can declare martial law and make sure that you are not able to vote them out. Yeah, in terms of...
mention what it meant to my mother who worked very hard and saved up.
Oh, Jesus, now about your mother again. Your mother lived in fucking Canada with you.
So that by the time I was a teenager, she was able to buy our first home.
Jesus Christ, that's not how it works. Jar, thank you for the $10 super chat, brother. Sister, not sure, but whichever it might be. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. The $10 super chat. And I'm thankful. Thankful. Yeah, it's all word salad. Hillary and Obama fighting over the strings. Yep, that is absolutely right. She has no clue what the people want and need. Lower prices. Jar, it's just jar. Yes. Non-sexual.
I bring to it my experience actually taking care of my mother when she was sick, and it was, as it turned out, dying from cancer. And so I know...
Huh? She was dying of cancer? I'm sorry for your loss, Camel Toe. That really sucks. That's a painful way to go out. I'm sure she was well taken care of.
Know what it means and have the experience of taking care of an elderly relative, and I have raised children.
Really? Whose children did you raise? Because they sure as hell aren't yours. I've never raised any children.
And so I bring to my priorities and will, as president, a new approach and a new idea, frankly, about what we need to do to deal with the sandwich generation.
The sandwich generation? The hell? Wait, there's air in there. We already been in martial law, just not completely because Trump put us in when he was inaugurated. We already been in martial law, not completely because Trump put us in when he was inaugurated. Not true. Yeah, that was left up to the states to decide. See, there was no martial law. He put people in charge of their own states and allowed them to do what their own states wanted. She mispronounced. I paid people to raise my 2 children. Yeah, most of her book about family members are lies. Family members calling Candace to tell her about it. If Trump is elected, Biden can call for ML and put hold on him taking office. I've not fact checked this yet. Yeah. Yep. He could do a lot. There's a lot between the election and the inauguration. And you think that they're not going to try it? They're already setting you up right now. As we speak, they are setting you up. Because if you disagree or debate or talk about the election not being the most free and fair election ever, they will shut you down. Just remember that. Remember that in 3 weeks. Remember what she's saying right here in 3 weeks after the election.
Which is what we call those folks who are literally in the middle, who are raising their young children and taking care of their parents. Which is why my plan and approach says, hey, you shouldn't have to wipe out all your savings to qualify for Medicaid to be able to get support to hire somebody to help you.
No, because you wouldn't have to do that if you were able to save your money. If you weren't paying all your money to the government that does nothing to help you, but takes more money from you, then why would you ever need Medicare or Medicaid? If you're able to save for the future, you'd never have any need for it. Weird how that works, huh? Peanut butter and jelly, of course. Fall storm, Zach, because they can't afford the Biden economy. There you go.
Cook for your parent or help them put on a sweater. I've done that. I know what that requires. You shouldn't have to quit your job in order to do the work that is necessary to take care of your children and your parent, because it's overwhelming to.
No, because you should be able to have one bread earner in the family and the other one should be able to stay at home. But because people can't afford, they have to have a 2-income household. That's where we're at. You have to have that 2-person income to make ends meet. You can't survive off of one person's income anymore because of the cost of living. Yeah, less government, leave it to the states.
To try to do it all. And so my plan is to have and allow Medicare to cover the cost of home health care for our seniors. These are a couple of examples, including what we talked about in terms of price gouging.
She's begging.
And what we need to do in addition, and it's a new approach that I think it's well overdue, let's invest in the small businesses of America. The woman who helped raise us was a small business owner. I know who small business owners are. I know what they do. They are the backbone of America's economy. And for too long, we've overlooked.
You've never done anything in your fucking life.
Whole, much less to the economy of neighborhoods and communities. So that's why my plan, and it's a new approach, is about tax cuts for our small businesses.
She is completely delusional,
so that they can
yes.
invest in themselves and grow, and in
More
the
word
process,
salad.
invest in communities, invest in neighborhoods, and strengthen our economy overall.
Invest in communities, invest in neighborhoods. What about the rural folk? You're talking about invest in urban. What about the people that lose their livelihood, that are trying to work a farm, but it costs them so much money because your fuel prices are so damn high, and you're going to call them out and call them price gougers because their cost outweighs production. That's the people that she's going after. She's going after mom and pop that have had a farm for generations, that have been feeding the cities, and they're going to go after them. They're going to call them, oh, they're price gouging. No, it costs us 4 times the amount of money to bring fuel, to get our tractors up and running, to plow the field, to run a farm, to get the fertilizer, to get goods to us. It costs twice the amount, 4 times the amount that it did under Trump. We have to raise our prices. If not, our farm will fail. If our farm fails, you don't have food going to your cities. Jesus, she is such an idiot.
So those are some examples.
Camel
It's about a
Toho.
new approach, a new generation of leadership based on new ideas and, frankly, different experiences. I bring a whole set of different experiences
On your hands and knees.
to this job and the way I think about it than Joe Biden.
Some voters, though, might ask, you've been in the White House for 4 years. You were vice president, not the president. But
We don't ask.
Why wasn't any of that done?
There is no asking. There's no asking. There's a demand. There's a demand for accountability, which she has no accountability whatsoever. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. She brings new experiences to this bullshit.
For the last 4 years.
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And,
Yeah, more
and
to
I'm
fuck
pointing out
up.
things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done. And I'm not going to shy away from saying, hey, these are still problems that we need to fix.
I want you to meet Jackson.
You haven't fixed anything. You've made it worse. You idiot.
Weiss, he's a student at Drexel University from Flourtown, Pennsylvania, registered Republican, says he's leaning toward voting for you, but has yet to make a final decision.
Look,
Jackson.
Look, it's Jim. It's Jim from The Office. He has a question. Do you think she'll answer his question? I don't think she does. I don't think she answers Jim's question. She's going to go into another diatribe of bullshit. Another paid actor.
Thank you, Anderson.
Hey, Jackson.
Thank you for taking the time to be here, too, Vice
You
President
too.
Harris.
Thank you.
Regarding the rapid increase in the migrant population, how will you ensure that every immigrant is integrated into American society safely? What benefits and subsidies will you provide them with? And how long will these benefits and subsidies last for an individual? Most importantly, will the American citizens' taxes pay for these benefits and subsidies? And if so, how much money will be allocated?
It's a good question, but here's the answer. Why haven't we shipped them back to their countries once they came? Why has that not happened? That is the question you should be asking. How are you going to handle the border crisis that we've had for the past 4 years under your control? But he's never going to get an answer to her question. His question.
Well, thank you, Jackson. Let's start with this. America's immigration system is broken and it needs to be fixed. And it's been broken for a long time. And part of what we need to do is always prioritize what we need to do to strengthen our border. I will tell you, I'm the only person in this race among the two choices that voters have. I've personally prosecuted transnational criminal organizations.
That doesn't stop anything at the border. That does nothing to stop the flow at the border. You are going, let me guess, she's going to say Trump killed a bill for border. No, Trump did nothing. Republicans in the House and Democrats, there were some Democrats that wouldn't vote for funding Ukraine. That's what your border bill was about. You've done nothing. You didn't even visit the border. Of course, she said, well, I never visited Europe. Oh, Miss Border Czar, how far you have fallen away from our border. Let's hear bullshit.
Trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings.
You've done nothing.
I have spent a significant part of
Name
my
the
career
case.
making sure that our border is secure and that we do not allow criminals in and we don't allow that kind of trafficking to happen and come into our country.
No, sweetheart. You've allowed criminals in because they're here illegally. Whenever you cross the border illegally, it is a crime. You are a criminal at the point that you step across your happy ass into our country. You have already broken the law. You are immediately a criminal. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Take your happy ass back to your country. Really easy. You're here illegally. You've broken the law already. Yet, with her administration, she's done nothing to stop that. They've just processed them through much faster.
And as my opponent has proven himself.
What have you done? What have you done? Nothing.
He would prefer to run on the problem instead of fix the problem. You
Nope.
may know
Wrong again.
there were some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress working with others that came up with a border security bill that would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border. Those border agents are
They would not have been at the border. They would have been in processing centers, processing more illegals into the country. That's what your plan was. It was not bipartisan. And you still passed the bullshit to send money to Ukraine because that's what your border bill was about. Same bullshit, same tropes.
overwhelmed. They need the support. They need the backup. It would have allowed us to have more resources to stem the flow of fentanyl. I don't need to tell this state and
No, it
people
didn't.
around the country
And no, it wouldn't have.
what is happening in terms of the scourge of fentanyl and how it is literally killing Americans. It would have put resources into stemming the flow. It would have given more resources
wouldn't
to
have.
prosecute, to investigate and prosecute transnational
Oh.
criminal organizations. It would have done a
No.
lot of good.
Done nothing.
Donald Trump got wind of the bill and told them, don't put it forward. He killed the bill
Trump
because
did
he
not
preferred to
do
run on a
anything.
problem instead of fixing
You
a
were in
problem.
charge.
We have to have a secure border, and we have
And
to
he
have
called
a
you out on this.
comprehensive
This is the same
for
trope that you said before.
citizenship.
Let me
And that includes requiring people, hardworking people, to earn citizenship and do it in a comprehensive, humane, and orderly manner.
Let me ask you about that. I mean, you talk about the bill that Donald Trump quashed, that was in 2024. You talk about the bill he tried to get passed in 2021. That wasn't able to get passed. 2022, 2023, there were record border crossings. Your administration.
It is the same tired ass bullshit that she has been saying this whole freaking time, and it's a lie. And here to tell us more about it. God, I love that intro. It's so glorious.
I needed something to wake me up besides my cup of coffee here.
She is so full of shit.
Of course she is.
This is the same bullshit that she said during the debate that she lost miserably on. This is the same tropes.
I still go back to 4 years ago. Biden expressly said that he was going to open the border. And we all knew what was going to happen. We knew how bad it was going to get.
Yes.
And sure enough, it did. And now it's, well, we've had a problem at the border for years. Yeah, we've had a problem at the border for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Ever since your boss opened it.
Yep. Called for people to come across the border.
They called for people to do it.
During the debate between Trump and Biden, that was what he called for.
Yep.
Come on.
It's exactly what he called for. And you ever notice that once again, she's continuing to spit out these ideals and all this conjecture and still hasn't listed a policy, because the fact of the matter is that it's not that she doesn't have policy. It's that she knows if she tells what her policy is, she's not going to get elected.
She's not going to get elected anyway.
Nobody, yeah, she's not going to get elected anyway, I don't think.
No, just saying.
Took hundreds of executive actions. It didn't stem the flow. Numbers kept going up. Finally, in 2024, just in June, 3 weeks before the first presidential debate with Joe Biden, you institute executive actions that had a dramatic impact, really shut down people crossing over. Why didn't
you do this 3 years ago?
We should do that in 2022, 2023.
First of all, you're exactly right,
2020.
Anderson. And as of today, we have cut the flow of immigration by over half. In fact, the numbers I saw most recently, illegal immigration
But if
is
it was
low.
that
But hold
easy
on, let
with
me
that
finish.
executive action, why not do it in 2022, 2023?
Because
CNN
back from CNN. It's a
CNN just turned on her in a fucking heartbeat. She was not expecting that. You notice her body language changed almost immediately.
Yep.
To the same kind of aggression that she had whenever she was on with, what was it, Brett Baer?
She's had
wait, I'm talking. Yep. Here it goes.
Cut the flow of immigration by over half. In fact, the numbers I saw most recently, illegal immigration
But if
is
it was
low.
that
But hold
easy
on,
with
let me
that
finish.
executive action, why not do it in 2022, 2023?
Because we were
me
working
finish.
with Congress and hoping that actually we could have a long-term fix to the problem instead of a short-term fix.
You couldn't have done one and both at the same time?
Well, here's the thing. We have to understand that ultimately this problem is going to be fixed through congressional action. Congress has the authority and the purse.
Yes.
I hate to use DC terms, but literally they write the checks. Part of the issue is in order to really fix the problem at the border. I was just at the border recently talking with border agents. You know what they
You're the border czar. That's the first time you even came close.
Yes, in 4 years, that's the first time you even came close. And those border agents that you talked to, they threw their support for Donald Trump.
Yes. It was not a border bill. It was a Ukraine bill. And if there was backing by Republicans, it was because those were the war hawks. It had nothing to do with the border. Stop.
Yep. And I said this earlier. Somebody was just like, she's going to bring us to World War III. I was like, no, we're already in World War III. We are in the middle of it. Do you look at past history? What happened with World War I? That started over in Europe.
Yep.
And the shit kept building and building and building until we were finally pulled into it to back our allies. What happened during World War II? It wasn't the landing on the beaches at Normandy that started World War II. That war had been going on for years before the United States got involved in it.
Yep.
The wars that were happening between China and Japan were happening years before the United States moved into that area.
Yeah. We only entered World War II because we were drug into it.
We're already in the middle of a world war. It's happening right now as we speak. You're just not seeing it because the news doesn't talk about it.
Nope.
They want you to send your money over to Ukraine. You're involved in a fucking war.
Yep.
talk about? Yes, they are overwhelmed.
No,
they're working
not.
around the clock. And the other thing that they talk to me about, we need more
They
judges
don't give a
down
shit
there to deal
anymore.
with asylum claims. We need
Yeah,
more personnel
They're not
down there to deal with
overwhelmed because they
processing.
can't do their job anyway.
Yes.
You're not
Asylum
allowing
claims.
them to do their job. These
They're
border
saying we
agents
need-
these border agents have come out and said they will not let us do our job.
Yes. But here's what she's saying. Well, we need more to handle asylum claims. You know how you handle those asylum claims? Take
Don't
your ass
know.
back to Mexico and you claim asylum there.
You're
You're
supposed
Yeah,
to
go-
claim asylum at the nearest country. It's when you're coming from God knows where. That's not
First
close
country.
to America.
You have to just imagine going from Texas to Michigan, how long it would take you by foot to go from Texas to Michigan to go to Canada and claim asylum.
All right.
Or better yet, it's even further than that. It's more like going from the tip of Texas, the bottom of Texas, going all the way up to the to New York and claiming asylum there.
Yep.
Down there to deal with asylum claims. We need more personnel down there to deal with processing.
That's not how it
Anderson,
works.
and that's where Congress kicks in terms of dedicating the resources to actually fixing the problem. We have dealt with it such that, to your point, we now, as of today, as of our visit, have lower undocumented immigrants and illegal immigration than Trump when he left office.
That's true.
But we need a
That's true, but you have more illegals than whenever Trump was in office.
That's the first time she's ever called them illegals.
Yes. You know why?
Because she knows they're in trouble.
Yeah. Destroying angels have been unleashed. All the judges you want. At the border, you're flying them in the interior of the country and shuttling them to paid hotels and prepaid cash cards. Exactly, Keister. Jesus.
Permanent solution,
Do you
and that
wish you had
requires
done that?
bipartisan work.
Do you wish you'd done those executive orders in 2022, 2023?
I think we did the right thing, but the best thing that can happen for the American people is that we have bipartisan work happening, and I pledge to you that I will work across the aisle to fix this long-standing.
I don't trust her pledge. Why? Because she won't pledge allegiance to the flag. That's why I don't trust her. She'll pledge.
I'm like, at this point, and she will say whatever she wants to in order to get elected.
Oh yeah.
Whatever sounds good.
The desperation flows.
Problem. I think the American people are demanding it on both sides of the aisle.
Nope.
And it's time we actually put the partisan approach to this aside. We know what can.
You just called Donald Trump a fascist. You're constantly calling him a racist, and you're wanting to reach across the aisle. You haven't wanted to reach across the aisle for the past 20 years, sweetheart. The only reaching across the aisle that you was to give hand jobs. That was about the only reach that you gave across the aisle.
Can work.
Well, let's talk about this compromise.
I think your
bill
audio went
that you want
funky,
to pass
Pastor.
if you're elected.
Oh,
You
it
said
did.
that's going to be a priority. It includes $650 million in funding for the border wall. That's something Republicans wanted. That was part of the compromise. Under Donald Trump, you criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project. Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall.
It's not funny. That was a serious question. Because this is going to be more bullshit that she talks. More bullshit coming out of her mouth. Let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. Sweetheart, you don't know anything about it. You called it stupid, ridiculous, a vanity project. Well, let's talk about that border wall. Come on.
So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't. How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw was
Pretty
about
good
2%.
amount.
And then when it came time for him to do a photo op, you know where he did it? In the part of the wall that President Obama built.
But you're
No. Sweetheart. Sweetheart. You know where he did his photo op? Next to the part of the border wall that was laying there rotting on the ground.
Yep.
Because you cut funding immediately. You cut funding as soon as you possibly could. They couldn't get the funding to put any more up. You couldn't pay the workers. And now it just lays on the ground right there in Texas. Just lays there, rotting away. You haven't put them up, have you? Haven't finished building that border wall.
Nope.
Trump
went to the weakest part of the wall.
Yeah.
Trump did a huge press conference at the weakest part of the border, that Eagles Pass in Texas.
Yes. Yeah, he went down to Eagles Pass and waved to Mexicans across the border. They were just like, "You're Donald Trump," and he was just like, "Yeah." There's a way you can get into this country that's completely legal. There's border crossings.
Yeah.
Most countries have those.
To continue building that wall.
I pledge that I am going to bring forward that bipartisan bill to further strengthen and secure our border. Yes, I am. And I'm going to work across the aisle to pass a comprehensive bill that deals.
Why haven't you done this in the past 4 years? You haven't done it in the past 4 years because it wasn't politically advantageous, because your goal was to shore up the illegals coming into this country and make sure that you could move them into places like California, Nevada, Texas.
With a broken immigration system. I think Jackson's question, part of it was to acknowledge that America has always had migration, but there needs.
Migration means you should take your happy ass back over whenever you're done here. But no, that's not what they wanted. They wanted illegals to come into the country.
Needs to be a legal process for it.
Sweetheart, there is a fucking legal process. It's been in place for decades.
Yep. Because
long before you were even fucking born, they had a process of coming into this country legally.
Yeah, because
before you were born.
There are people that are coming into this country legally that are pissed as hell at them allowing all these illegals to come over. They are pissed.
Yeah.
People have to earn it. And that's the point that I think is the most important point that can be made, which is we need a president who is grounded.
We had a president, and you made sure that he wasn't elected a second go around.
Yep.
In common sense and practical outcomes. Like, let's just fix this thing. Let's just fix it. Why is...
What, you mean like, let's make America great again? Why is this so hard?
We're working on fixing it. Believe me.
Yeah. Every single day.
Is there any ideological perspective on this? Let's just fix the problem.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense, because he actually didn't do much of anything.
But he did.
Let me take you back 2020. Let's go back even further. 2016. What was it that you were talking about? Russia, misinformation, Russian misinformation, Russia, Ukraine. You guys are so pissed because you didn't get to start a fucking war in Ukraine 4 years earlier.
Yeah,
that's all you're pissed off about.
I just talked about that wall, right? We just talked about it.
This is Annalise Keene. She's from Philadelphia.
You notice the big cut they had in there? That wasn't me that cut that.
Oh, that was an awful edit.
Yeah, that is. It's not my fault. More than likely, there was a commercial that came up.
Maybe.
But so far, we've had most of the actors from The Office on asking camel toe questions. Serious.
Well,
the first one that was there.
Yeah.
Who did she resemble? She resembled the one chick that was like the office manager that we're talking about the American Office, not Pam. No, she was she was the one that was from a different place. No, they haven't shown Pam yet. They haven't shown Pam yet, but they've had Jim. They've had their IT guy in there.
Yeah.
You know, but basically the guy that was Pam's boyfriend, they've had him in there.
Uh-huh.
You remember yeah. They've had their token black girl in there, of course. You know, the one that you know what was her name? She the Indian girl. I can't remember what her name is.
What was her name?
She is hilarious.
I know her
she
name
was
in real life, but I don't know what her character's name was.
Dude, she was so fucking awesome in that role where she was like chef's kiss. I loved her, man. She was awesome. Next question, Muppet.
She works as a fundraiser for Habitat for Humanity. She's registered with no party affiliation.
This looks like Pam, doesn't it?
No, she looks like a cat lady.
Oh, but these are all paid actors. Every single one of them are paid.
Well, of course they are.
She says
got
she's
the
a Democrat.
questions
She's
ahead of
leaning toward
time, and
voting
they
for
have
you.
paid actors asking them.
Mm-hmm.
But said she's yet to make her final decision in part because of the conflict in the Middle East. Annalise?
Thank you, and good evening, Madam Vice President.
Good evening.
My question is, as president, what would you do to ensure not another Palestinian dies due to bombs being funded by U.S. tax dollars?
So
stay out of it.
I will say, and I think this is to your point, far too many innocent Palestinian civilians have been killed. It's unconscionable. And
so why aren't you stopping Hezbollah? Because they're the ones causing that.
The Israelis are.
Yeah, the Israelis are, but you're wanting to cut support to Israel. Yeah, her first chain of events, if she becomes president, she'll cut off all funding to Israel. Don't believe it? Just watch.
But you know what? Here's the thing. Israel has shown time and time again they can handle their own business.
Yes, it can.
Let them.
Ukraine
just
can.
Don't interfere with what Israel's doing. Just don't interfere because they know how to handle this. They've been handling this for thousands of years.
Amazing how that works.
And we are now at a place where with Sinwar's death, I do believe we have an opportunity to end.
Oh, and by the way, the U.S. is sending weapons over to them also. So they're funding the war in the Middle East. They're also funding Iran. France just sent, what is it, 100 million euros or whatever that little, I think that's euros, over to Lebanon.
How many are they secretly sending to Palestine?
Oh, I would bet it's quite a bit.
I guarantee both sides of the war are getting funded.
Janice from the Muppets.
End this war. Bring the hostages home. Bring relief to the Palestinian people and work toward a two-state solution where Israel and the Palestinians in equal measure have security. Where the Palestinian people have dignity, self-determination.
They had it before Hezbollah came in and started this shit.
They allowed Hamas to come into leadership.
Yes.
Palestine is run by Hamas, a known terrorist organization. This is not hard.
Yes. Remember the Abraham Accords? Well, they kicked that shit down the fucking road.
Yeah.
And the safety that they so rightly deserve.
What do you say to voters who are thinking about supporting a third-party candidate or staying on the couch, not voting at all because of this issue?
Listen, I am not going to deny the strong feelings that people have. I don't know that anyone who has seen the images who would not have strong feelings about what has happened, much less those who have relatives who have died and been killed. And I know people and have talked with people.
You've supported those people. No, she's talked to them.
That's not even the question. That's not the damn question.
Yeah, she's going off the rails here.
So I appreciate that, but I also do know
it's the earpiece
that for many people who care about this issue, they also care about bringing down the price of groceries. They also care about our democracy and not having a president of the United States who admires dictators and
We're
is a
not a
fascist.
democracy.
And there she goes again. She wants to for both sides to come together, but only if you agree with me. That's what she wants. It's okay. It's okay for us to disagree as long as that disagreement is disagreement against the people I don't like.
I've actually talked to some lifelong Democrats who will not vote for her. They're like, I don't like Trump, but I damn sure don't like her.
Yeah.
And that, well, I mean, I'm talking about literally people who have been a part of, Democrat movements who have said to me personally that I really don't like either candidate, but I guess I'm going to vote for Trump because I can't vote for her.
Yeah. She does not respect.
And they're complaining about the same things that everybody's complaining about as far as, especially as far as cost of living and groceries and day-to-day life, because that's what they're focused on. Those are the actual issues at play, are the fact that you've got immigrants coming across the border, the fact that we've seen our grocery bills skyrocket over the past 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same stuff that you and I see on a day-to-day basis. They see it. And these are people that are focused on politics, but they will not vote for her.
No, they'll set it out. And that's what he's talking about right here. What about those people that go for a third party candidate? No, they're not going for any candidate.
Yeah.
They don't like Trump, but they don't like her. And they're just like, you know what? I'm not gonna change my my voting. I'm gonna sit this one out.
Yeah.
And that's who she's trying to appeal to.
Yes.
Because they've dissuaded so many people from their bad policies that they'll set it out and they'll wait for the next round of elections to vote.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that these people start seeing people like Tulsi Gabbard, like Kennedy,
DeSantis,
the more that they see these people coming over to the Republican Party, the more they're going to go, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't leave my party. My party left me. They've gone so far to the left that they've come full circle and they're far right. They've become what they claim everybody else to be. The projection is real.
You're seeing another shift. There was a lot of people probably don't know. Ronald Reagan used to be a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
And then he switched over to the Republican Party and he made the comment of, I didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left me.
Yeah.
And he became, to me anyway, my personal bias, he became one of the best presidents we ever had.
Yeah. And that was because of California. Look at how he turned California around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people go, oh, no, he turned a lot of the policies in California around that was tanking California.
They also care about the fact that we need practical, common sense solutions
That you
from a
have
leader
none
who
of.
is willing to work across the aisle on behalf of the American people and not themselves.
You have to understand that leaders are not leaders because they tell everyone they're a leader.
No.
Okay. What makes a leader is someone that doesn't realize they're a leader, but people follow them by their example.
Right.
That's what makes a really good leader, is somebody that doesn't have to tell people how to think or believe. All they have to do is just open the door and people walk right through. And the Democrat Party has closed so many doors to so many people. They're just like, well, if I'm not welcome here, see you bye. If you can't walk into one of their rallies, or should I say free concerts, and say Christ is King without having the entire group of paid actors there boo you out, how is that a welcoming party?
A boss is somebody who tells you what to do. A leader is somebody you want to follow and do what they want to do.
Yeah,
There's
because
a difference.
they're the guys that will walk into the line of fire
Yes.
because of core beliefs, and she is not willing to do that. How do you know that she's not willing to do that? And I'll show you really quick, because it's right here, and it'll show up at the very end of her little speech right here. Her weakness. What does it say right here? Harris has been known to prepare to the point of paralysis, and she's sometimes unwilling to take risks. A leader weighs the risks, and they'll still take the chance anyway because of core belief. She has no core belief. She has nothing backing her up.
I don't necessarily believe that. And here's why. I think Kamala does have core beliefs. I think Kamala knows exactly what she wants to do when she's in office. The only problem is that that's not
Nobody
going
else
to get
does.
her. The problem is that's not going to get her elected, what her core beliefs really are. So she can't tell everybody what she really wants to do.
Yeah.
That's why she's such a bad candidate, is because she's running on a fake premise. That's why she's so vague, because she knows exactly what she wants to do. And the American people do not like it.
They don't want it. They didn't vote for her, and
right.
Sure as hell shouldn't vote for her again.
Yep.
They want a president who cares about a fundamental freedom to make decisions about your own body. Understanding that we're not trying to change anyone's belief, but let's not have the government telling women what to do with their body.
But that's exactly
I want you to
what you're
meet Beth
doing.
Sandberg. She's a realtor, a mom of 4 from Ballackinwood, Pennsylvania. She's a registered Democrat. Says she's undecided because of concerns about anti-Semitism. Beth?
Hi, thank you for being here.
Thank you,
Thank
Beth.
you for remembering we need to bring the hostages home.
Of course.
The rise of anti-Semitism and violence from anti-Semitism has risen greatly on college campuses and on our city streets in the last year. How would you combat this growing trend and protect our young adults?
Thank you, Beth. You are right, and I will say that we have seen a rise in anti-Semitism. It is something that we have to be honest about and we have to deal with. As Attorney General, I actually published a hate crimes report.
I'm not even going to listen to this bullshit because this is a total trope. Sorry.
Hate crimes aren't real.
Hate crimes are not real.
It's either a crime or it's not.
It's either legal or illegal. There's no such thing as a hate crime.
Again, I invite you to listen and go online to listen to John Kelly, the former chief of staff.
And she's talking bad about it. Has nothing to do with this. All about how Donald Trump. What is she going to do? Nothing. Nothing.
And Trump already made his feelings known on John Kelly, so this is bullshit.
Who has referred several times. We've heard the reports for years.
Do you believe Donald Trump is anti-Semitic?
I believe Donald Trump is a danger to the well-being and security of America.
And in doing so, what did she just do? What did she just do right there? The same thing that they said they would not be doing. They constantly are doing what they we need to stop the violence and the political rhetoric. Why do you think there were 2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump?
We need to tone down the political rhetoric, but we continue to call him the German artist.
Yeah.
He has said that he's casting himself as a protector of Israel. Do you believe you would be more pro-Israel than Donald Trump?
No.
I believe that Donald Trump is dangerous.
No, she wouldn't be.
Yeah. Once again, you didn't answer the question.
She won't.
I believe that when you have a president of the United States who has said to his generals who work for him because he is commander in chief, these conversations, I assume many of them took place in the Oval Office. And if the president of the United States, the commander in chief, is saying to his generals, in essence, why can't you be more like Hitler's generals, Anderson?
He's never done that, sweetheart.
Well, even if he did, as someone who's looked at military strategy, I'm not saying the brutal tactics, but as far as being efficient, they were efficient.
True, they were
I
efficient.
mean, I know that may not be politically correct to say, but from a military strategy standpoint, they were efficient.
They did walk through most of Europe.
Yeah, they were just fighting for a horrible cause.
Yes. Military hates her. She seems obsessed. Yes. Because that's all they have left is comparing him to the German artist. That's all they have left.
Yeah.
Because they've lost on every other front. This is their final appeal. Well, not their final, but one of their final appeals to the American people to vote for them. Because if not, he's going to take away women's rights. He's going to take away men's rights. Just think about this. If she's elected, all your sons and daughters that are below the age of 34, well, all your sons, most definitely, your daughters aren't registered with the Selective Service.
No.
Yeah, your daughters aren't required to. But if she's elected, all your sons are going to be going to a war. She will enact another draft. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Come on. This is a serious, serious issue. And we know who he is. He admires dictators, sending love letters back and forth with Kim Jong-un. Talks
Really?
about
What love
the
letters?
president of Russia, and then most recently, the reports are that in the height of COVID, when most Americans could not get their hands on a
Sweetheart, the height of COVID was in 2021. Whenever you had people locked in their homes, where you were forcing them to do something against their will, or you were going to take their jobs away from them.
And then when they were trying to eliminate the lockdowns, all the Democrat governors and Democrat mayors of these cities pushed it even further. No, we need to continue the lockdown.
Double masked.
Don't forget that.
Just remember, it is there again. They sent the 101st Airborne overseas to fight. So much backlash now that there's elite 101 Airborne digging out of mud-filled buildings in Tennessee.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Them in the 82nd.
Yep, exactly. Women get to decide what they do with their own bodies. Men off to die in war, but hey, women got to murder. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a COVID test. Americans were dying by the hundreds a day. He secretly sent COVID tests to the president of Russia for his personal use.
So?
Who cares?
What does that have to do with anything? So you're saying that we shouldn't be working to build a bridge across nations and helping nations build themselves up and wish them well? We should be destroying. We should be going to war with them. There's a lot of peace through strength, and she is showing weakness in every aspect.
So again, this election in 13 days is presenting the American people.
Alan, that is a lie that has been told time and time again, and I'm not going to have to pull it up, but if you want to go do a search for this, well, you can just go pull up what Trump said. Why can't we just find something that cleans out the system? That's all he said. So keep up with the tropes, and I will remove you, because those are lies. That's misinformation. That's medical misinformation. And you will be reported for it and removed. So stop it.
With a very significant decision. And on the one side, on this issue of who is going to model what it means to use the bully pulpit of the President of the United States
That you've been using.
in a manner that in tone, word, and deed is about lifting up our discourse, fighting against hate, as opposed to fanning the flames of hate, which Donald Trump does consistently.
You just did this. Like your entire platform has been against Donald Trump and spreading seeds of discord and hate.
I'm going to tell you, we are an incredible country and we love our country. Y'all wouldn't be here unless we love our country. And there are certain things where we've just got to come together and realize that we do believe in the importance of healthy debate on real issues, but there are certain standards we've got to have.
What? Healthy debate? No.
I love my country
So
as long as you do what I want you to do.
That's your standard.
And, you know, another point that even John Kelly talked about, I believe, and many have.
How about this? Why don't you hire John Kelly to suck your ass? How's that? Because John Kelly was fired because he's a piece of shit.
For crying out loud, you've got Dick Cheney backing you, which everybody knew Dick Cheney was a warmonger. Hell, he had interest in Halliburton.
Yeah.
Everybody knew Dick Cheney was a warmonger, and he's one of your biggest supporters right now. What does that tell you?
War is profitable. She's got to pad that bank account because if she gets elected, she'll only have 4 years to screw up the country.
It's January 6th. Where
January 6th has nothing to do with this.
Stop the
defying the
January
will of
6th
the
stuff.
This is a lie that's told over and over again. No, that is not what happened on January 6th.
people in a free and fair election and unleashing a violent mob who attacked the United States Capitol. 140 law enforcement officers were attacked. Some were killed. And so I say that to say.
Wait, there was no Capitol officers that were killed that day.
Nope, none.
That is a lie she just told right there. There were no Capitol officers killed because of what happened on January 6th. Because they've never named a single person.
No, because the one officer that they were trying to claim was killed because of January 6th. No, he actually was fine and then went to the hospital and died of a heart attack.
I thought it was a stroke, but
A stroke.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew it was either a heart attack or a stroke, but
Yeah.
it had nothing to do with anything that happened at January 6th.
they tried, but it didn't
Oh
work.
yeah. And then they
Yeah,
found video footage of him walking off and he was fine. And then a couple days later died of a stroke. Yeah.
Susie. I don't need to show you anything. Just go research it for yourself. Get off the cable news networks, stop watching Fox News or whatever the hell bullshit that you're watching, and go and look this shit up. That's all you got to do. I don't have to point it out to you, and you're not going to derail the stream. Fun.
American people deserve to have a president who encourages healthy debate, works across the aisle, not afraid of good ideas wherever they
I'll be
come
right
from,
back.
but also maintains certain standards about how we think about the role and the responsibility, and certainly not comparing oneself in a clearly admiring way to Hitler.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll have more from the CNN Presidential Town Hall with Vice President Kamala Harris.
It was an extraordinary day that Sunday when the president called me, and I instinctively understood the gravity of the moment, the seriousness of the moment. I didn't predict or know exactly how that day would play out, and obviously now it's been 3 months since I've been at the top of the ticket. Actually, 3 months as of yesterday. But I just called
Since you had a coup.
him. I needed that spiritual kind of connection.
This
I
is
needed
cringe.
that advice.
This
I
is
needed a
cringe.
prayer. And there's a part of the scripture that talks about Esther. You live your faith, and
You have no faith. You have no religion. You're garbage. I'm not even going to entertain her
I had to
tropes.
take care of something.
Gotcha, brother. Gotcha. Thank you.
Trump's demeanor and actions on January 6th.
Joe?
Thank you, Madam Vice President, and thank you, Anderson. Madam Vice President, everybody as human beings, we're not perfect. We have our flaws. We make mistakes. We have our weaknesses. And the office of the presidency can sometimes bring those weaknesses out in ways that the incumbent may not expect. What weaknesses do you bring to the table, and how do you plan to overcome them while you're in office?
That's a great question, Joe. Well, I am certainly not perfect, so let's start there. And I think that
No one expects you to be perfect, sweet cheeks.
Who wrote this
But
question?
you expect. Yeah. What are your weaknesses and how you plan to overcome them? She doesn't even know what her weakness is. Because she's a narcissistic bitch.
perhaps a weakness, some would say, but I actually think it's a strength, is I really do value having a team of very smart people around me who bring to my decision-making process different perspectives. My team will tell you, I am constantly saying, let's kick the tire on that. Let's kick the tires on it. Because
No, it's kick it down the road.
No, that's exactly it. There is no
down the
kicking the
road.
tires on. It's just been kicking it down the road. Exactly.
listen, as I mentioned earlier, I started my career as a prosecutor. I was a courtroom prosecutor.
A courtroom prosecutor. How many cases have you prosecuted, Kamala?
I'm a courtroom prosecutor. Well, that's pretty much the only way you can be a prosecutor is in the courtroom.
Yeah.
I've tried everything from low-level offenses to homicides. And I learned at a very early stage of my career and adult life that my actions have a direct impact on real people in a very fundamental way. When I was Attorney General of California, I was Attorney General of what is the 5th largest economy in the world, and acutely aware that my words could move markets. So I take my role and responsibility as an elected leader very seriously, and I know the impact it has on so many people I may never meet. And that is why I engage and bring folks around. So I may not be quick to have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific policy issue.
Yeah, because it takes a while to have it fed through her earpiece.
Sometimes because I'm going to want to research it.
Remember the Sarah Boo trial when they were going over the characteristics of a narcissist?
9 of them.
9.
You only need 5.
Yeah, you only need 5 to be declared a narcissist, and she's pretty much hit 9 of them.
I'm going to want to study it. I'm kind of a nerd sometimes, I confess. And
No,
some
you're
might call
not.
that a weakness, especially if you're, in an interview or just kind of,
Let me
being asked a certain question and you're expected to have the right answer right away. But that's how I.
But why is it that Trump's able to?
Yeah.
Because those are his core beliefs.
And how come he can do it off script?
Yeah.
But you
He
can't.
doesn't need a teleprompter.
And you've been in politics
That's how I
a
work.
lot longer than he has.
I don't think I've
Mm-hmm.
ever heard the former president admit a mistake. A lot of politicians don't. Is there something you can point to in your life, political life, or in your life in the last 4 years that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes.
Name
And
one.
they range from, if you've ever parented a child, you make lots of mistakes.
Nope, it's not the question.
That's not the question. She's never parented a child. Being stepmom doesn't make you a parent. Okay? She's never given birth to a single child.
And we've seen your
She's
child.
She's never had to raise them from birth. And I'm not saying that step parents are horrible people, but it's a complete different story.
Huge.
Whenever she does the bullshit that she's doing, if she raised a child that way, what a total piece of garbage. What a total piece of garbage. Raise a child from birth and tell me how fucking easy that is.
Yeah. Wake up multiple times during the night to get your kid to go back to sleep. And start
And I've
from
known
there.
I've known step parents that have done that.
Yeah.
My brother was adopted, and he will always give kudos to his mother that he considers his mother, which isn't his birth mother.
Right.
But she stepped into the role. This person here, she's never stepped into that role.
No, that kid was an accessory.
Yeah. Just like her husband.
Too. In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
Question
Answer
me
the
Pam Kissel.
question.
She's from Windmore, Pennsylvania. She's a realtor. She's a widow. Her husband, Mike, died just a year ago. She has two daughters in college. She registered with no party affiliation and says she's undecided. She has concerns about how you would handle the economy. Pam?
Thank you. And thank you, Anderson. And happy belated birthday, too.
Thank you very
I
much.
really,
Oh, dear Lord.
Oh,
I'm
thank you.
unaffiliated,
and
but
I'm
happy birthday.
really appreciative
Okay.
for you to
Yeah.
be here and get to know you. When you talk about rich people paying their fair share, can you be more specific? Income taxes are already on a graduated scale, where the more you make, the higher percentage you pay in taxes.
Yep.
So the rich are paying a disproportionate amount in taxes as it is. Over 40% of Americans don't pay any income taxes. Also, the really high earners may move their money offshore if there are disincentives in the US. This could impact the economy. I would like to hear more nuts and bolts about your economic plans.
Sure. Thank you, Pam. So first of all, it is the case in the United States of America that billionaires on average pay less taxes as a percentage than
No, they don't.
teachers and firefighters.
That's not
No,
true.
No,
That's
they
a lie.
don't. No. Here's what it is. There are tax incentives for everybody. It's just that these billionaires have accountants who tell them, hey, there's this, and this in the tax code to reduce the amount that you're going to have to pay. But you're still having to donate to charity. You're having to, move your funds into this, that, and the other. This is available to every American. This is not just only for the wealthy.
Nope.
It's not
for
their
every
fault.
American.
It's not their fault that they can use the tax code. Anybody can use the tax code.
Exactly.
So stop with this.
Mm-hmm. She wants the richest to pay their fair share, but earlier said she wants to help small business owners.
Name
Only
one
small business owners that support
owner
her.
you've helped. You put them out of business.
Yeah. 2021. 2022, you put them out of business, and then you wanted to raise their taxes so you could send more money to Ukraine. 0% is the only fair share, or a flat tax rate. That would be ideal. There's no tax. Imagine this: not having any tax write-offs. That on what you consume, what you purchase, you pay a percentage of that in taxes.
Because here's the dirty little secret. If they raise the tax rates, if they quote unquote made the wealthy pay their fair share, do you think that they would stop there? That wouldn't be the end of it, because then they wouldn't have anything to run on. They wouldn't have a scare tactic to run on.
Exactly.
And nurses.
I'm talking about hard workers like pound the street, have some success.
Yes, no, I understand, but I want to just let's
Not
set the
the really high.
Let's set the scene, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, let's make up some shit. That's what she's saying.
Let's make up a lie.
when I say that the richest among us need to pay their fair share,
okay,
I am referencing that, and I need to reference that because sadly, Donald Trump, when he was president, gave tax.
Has nothing to do with Donald Trump. How much money did you make while Donald Trump was president? She is worth over $77 million. Just her alone, she's worth over $77 million. Put that into perspective. Put that into perspective. How does somebody that works for the government become a multi-millionaire?
My paycheck went a hell of a lot further under Trump.
So did hers.
Yeah.
Cuts to the richest, to billionaires and big corporations.
But, you know, as they say, billionaires, big corporations, the same people that you're going to go after them for having to raise the cost of living because it costs more for them to do business.
Well, Susie, maybe my view of economics is skewed, but who provides jobs?
Oh, come on. You know that the small business owners are the ones that provide jobs, right?
Well, not if you put them out of business. Last time I
Oh.
checked, these big companies are the ones that go into small towns and build up a factory and provide jobs for the community. Last time I checked.
Well, but according to them, those companies that come in and do that, they're taking money from the hardworking folks to build up their own profits.
If they didn't have those companies in these small towns, none of these people would have jobs.
That's you're switching lies. Come on.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You gotta stick with her fantasy world.
which added trillions of dollars to our deficit. So that sadly needs to be said in a way that should be obvious to your point.
No, federal government raised trillions of dollars to our deficit. You are the ones sending money to Ukraine. The American people don't want this. The American people don't want this.
No.
They're being fed a lie. They're being fed a lie, and now you're going to be sending your kids off to war. You vote for her? There you go.
But is not given what he did. Now, in terms of what we need to do to bring down taxes, I have pledged and have a plan for a middle-class tax cut that would have...
Why haven't you done that in the past 4 years?
Yeah, why haven't you tried to pass it now?
Why now?
Why didn't you try to pass it 2 years ago when you had a Democrat-controlled Congress?
Because, you had to wear a mask.
affect 100 million Americans, including, for example, what we will do around small businesses in terms of tax deductions, in terms of what small businesses are now being mired in terms of a bureaucracy around they have to fill out
That you created.
and do their taxes in a way that actually holds them back. Part of my plan includes extending a middle-class tax cut that would include a $6,000 tax cut, essentially a child.
A $6,000 tax cut if you have kids.
Boy, you notice she backed off on the whole. We're not going to collect taxes on tips after it came out that she's the one that actually cast the deciding vote to go after these people for taxes on tips.
Yeah.
They haven't mentioned that again.
No. They got really quiet about that.
Tax credit for parents and young parents in particular, knowing that the vast majority of our parents.
So only the middle class that are having kids and they're going to get what, a $6,000 tax credit? Do you know what $6,000 that I pay more than that in taxes a year? So what, you're going to give me some of the money back that I already earned? Is that what you're saying?
Well, and statistically, if you look at it, the people that have more kids are the really wealthy and the really poor.
Yeah.
The middle class raising kids or having kids has diminished.
No, young parents in particular, but you have to be parents. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Hot pearl necklaces are lovely in any sense. You just got to wear it.
Have a natural desire to parent their children well, but not always the resources. So this is going to include an extra amount of just money that people can use to pay for childcare, which is far
She's fucked.
too expensive for too many working families. And
It's
part
word
of the issue
salad.
here is
She's
this.
fucked.
We cannot, and I will not, raise taxes on anyone making less than $400,000 a year, but we do need to take serious.
Well, when JD Vance mentioned about
Wait a second.
when JD Vance mentioned raising the tax credit on kids, they came out with all these articles of how's he going to pay for it?
You heard what she just said here?
Yeah.
She's not going to raise taxes on anybody making over $400,000 a year.
Yeah.
Sweetheart, how much does a president get paid?
$400,000.
Part of the issue here is this. We cannot, but we do need to take seriously the system that benefits the richest and does not help out working middle-class Americans. I come from the middle class, and I believe that
No,
the
you
middle
don't.
class needs tax breaks to be able to actually not just get by, but get ahead.
So you're saying, well, what you're saying is anyone under 400,000 won't have taxes raised. Or are you saying that anyone above 400,000 will have a tax raise?
I'm saying that there is going to be a parity around what the richest people pay in terms of their taxes. Right now, Anderson, the document.
Right now, the top 10% is paying 60% of the taxes collected. The top 10%.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they consider the top 10%? Anybody making over $200,000 a year is considered the top 10%.
Toy, they'll redefine middle class. You're exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
It is well documented that some of the richest people in our country have gotten away with a zero tax rate.
But if you're earning,
But if you're a politician, you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Remember, the richest people right now in the country are your politicians.
Exactly.
They're making well above how much money you are.
If you want one group of people in the entire country that are considered some of the wealthiest, it is every member of Congress and the president and the vice president.
Yep.
They are the wealthiest people. Yes, you have CEOs of large corporations that make a good chunk of money. You have Hollywood actors that make a huge chunk of money, but most of us don't. I mean, if somebody wants to pay me, we'll say under the $400,000 threshold. If somebody wants to pay me $350,000 a year, I'd be ecstatic.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Saying that stealing money is the most profitable? Yes.
$500,000, $600,000, $700,000 under your plan, there's a good chance your taxes go up.
We can't have this conversation without knowing it's a very complicated situation, right? If you're talking about a small business owner,
It's a complicated situation that you don't understand. You're in over your head.
I'm going to cut taxes for small businesses, right? Because I know that they.
So what happens whenever that small business is making $600,000 a year because they're making a product that people want? You're gonna make them pay what, 90% in taxes?
Need the overhead, the money that they need for overhead to actually benefit the growth of their business, which benefits our economy as a whole.
Let's go to actually, I want to reference something that about Pam. Pam, we mentioned her husband Steve died a year ago. You've talked about your mom, Kamala Harris, who died 15 years ago. What has grief been like for you? Do you still grieve?
Yeah, you don't stop grieving. You don't stop grieving. I mean, I think that there are like two sides to a coin when you have lost somebody you love. Anyone who has lost a family member through.
I want you to meet Rob McPherson. He's the chief marketing officer for a local organization. He's registered with the Pennsylvania, who told us he's leaning towards voting for you, but has concerns about what he calls shifts in your policy positions. Rob?
Thank you. Thank you for being here, Vice President Harris. So welcome to Delco.
Thank you.
Here in Delco, we pride ourselves in being authentic.
Yeah.
And much of what we have seen, much of what you've been saying with regard to issues like law and order and fracking reflect a more centrist view than what people are used to hearing from Kamala Harris.
That is not a centrist view. She has been against fracking. She's been against drilling for oil. She's more for the green energy.
I think she defines it, though. I think she defines her policy a little more on this. If this is what I think it is.
Okay.
Voters to wonder about the authenticity of your current, more moderate positions. Can you talk a little bit about how your positions have shifted and why?
Sure, and thank you. So first of all, on fracking, I've been very clear. We kind of dispensed with this in 2020. I am not going to ban fracking. I did not as vice president. In fact, as vice president, I cast the tie-breaking vote that now has opened up more fracking leases. My value on the issue of what we need to do to invest in a clean energy economy and a clean energy future has not changed. But frankly, I now have the experience and perspective of having been vice president for almost 4 years. I've traveled the country. I know that we can invest in a clean energy economy and still not ban fracking and still work toward what we need to do to create more jobs and create U.S.-based jobs in a way that will be globally competitive. On the issue of law and order, as you mentioned, I think there's just a whole lot of misinformation, to be honest with you. I have personally prosecuted very serious crime. It's how I started my career. I spent most of my career as a prosecutor, not in Washington, D.C. And as my first priority had and remains as a first priority to me, the safety of the American people. So that has not changed. And sadly, I think that there's a bit of misinformation, if not more than a bit. But I'm glad that you raised the subject so that I can address it. But just, if you don't mind, just let me just finish. Because I think the spirit of your question is really important, and I'm glad you raised it. Our country deserves to have a president of the United States who is not afraid of good ideas and does not stand on pride if a perspective needs to
What has she been doing
be
the whole time?
informed by different points of view to build consensus and to have a common sense approach. I'm never going to shy away from good ideas. And I'm not going to
You
feel the
better
need to
agree
have
with
pride
me.
associate with a position that I've taken when the important thing is to build consensus to fix problems. I believe in fixing problems. I love fixing problems. And so I pledge to you to be a president who not only works for all Americans, but works on getting stuff done. And that means compromise. And it doesn't mean compromising your values or your principles, but it does mean working to get stuff done. And I pledge to you I will do that.
Just to be clear, though, what he's referring to, and you point out, too, when you're running for vice president in 2020, you were not talking about banning fracking, but...
No, Anderson, I pledged that I would not ban fracking.
Right, I know. You said you would not ban fracking.
Correct.
You know, you had said in a 2019 town hall, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. In 2017, you talked about Medicare for all. You talked about 2019, you raised a hand in debate about if border crossings should be decriminalized. Are all of those issues, which those are not your positions now, are all those issues that you're saying through consensus and getting stuff done, you have evolved on?
Well, no, let's take, for example, the issue of Medicare. My point has always been that access to health care should not just be a privilege of those who can afford it. It should be a right for all people. So that is why I have worked on doing what we have done to, one, allow Medicare to negotiate against the big pharmaceutical companies to bring down the cost of prescription medication. We've achieved that in terms of capping the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month, capping the cost of annual prescriptions at $2,000 a year for seniors. But my plan moving forward, based on that very principle that I've always had, is as president, to have that cap be for everyone and not just for our seniors. The work that I have done that has been about recognizing the importance of dealing with border security, that has never changed. As I said, I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations. That I did for years before I ever ran in 2019.
I mean, you did raise your hand saying debate when asked if border crossing should be decriminalized, but obviously that is not your position.
I never intended, nor will I ever allow America to have a border that is not secure. I believe we need to deal with illegal immigration. There needs to be consequences, which is why part of my plan that I have outlined, and again, please go to KamalaHarris.com. Sorry to throw a website on you, but why not? And you will see that part of my plan includes what we need to do to actually do more as it relates to putting resources in, including increasing penalties for illegal crossing.
And just finally on fracking, you said you're clear you would not ban it as president.
No, I would not ban it as president.
Right, you're clear on that. Do you think it is bad for the environment, though?
I think that we have proven that we can invest in a clean energy economy. We can mitigate greenhouse gas emissions. We can work on and sustaining what we need to do to protect this beautiful earth of ours and not ban fracking.
All bullshit. Sorry, I had to do it.
Absolutely.
It was nothing but word salad and lies.
Yeah.
Word salad and lies. Because she has been so far, she's losing. You know that they've lost it whenever the only thing they can do is talk about how bad Trump is.
Well, that's what she's done her entire campaign. Is she hasn't focused on her own policies. All she's focused on is Trump bad. That's it.
That's her policies. That is her policy. We should write a book called Word Salad and Lies. Yeah.
I think
That's
she does
all
have a
it's
book.
She does. It was plagiarized.
Yeah, it was plagiarized, just like what Biden did.
Yeah.
That's
got
the reason
called out on it.
when he tried to run for president in the 80s, he got called out for plagiarism.
Yeah. The fuck, did Rumble post that gender emoji or did your phone? Hell if I know. 3 years of bullshit. Well, I have to get to work, and I will see you guys tonight for more Sarah Boone. Everybody have a wonderful one. Peace.
Peace.
Bless your heart. I thought I was the only mentally challenged one here.
Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Early morning, rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah. Oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah. Oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah. Oh yeah. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning Whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.